at least. And
I don't know what FOV I have. I think I have 120 or something like that FOV. Oh, no, I don't.
My FOV is 3440 by 1440.
My problem with this build is I have the standard PPC in the 1R.
Oh. Dude, I did 731 damage, 1 killing blow, 1 solo assist, 3 KMDD, and 11 assists. I touched 11 everyone. People. I touched 11 people on that map. Sometimes having this, I feel fucking powerful in this mech. Part of my aggressive playstyle works with this game, with this mech, because I can just roll up and everyone's afraid of me.
Well, the thing is that because you're so low to the ground compared to the Atlas, when you overreach a peak, you're there and your weapons are fully deployed.
Blinds the cockpit if I hit them.
The Atlas, they would see your head before.
I don't like the UAC 10 so much because they jam a lot. It also helps that I've got an MRM 40 on this.
You can switch to regular 10.
It blinds the cockpit if I hit them with it. No, Murasaki, I don't touch everything. The UAC 10 so much because they jam a lot. But
what is the name of that?
You can switch to regular.
The one I'm using?
The King Crab?
It's called the King Crab
like
000B. Nope, it's just a regular one.
There it is.
I spent some sea bills and got some of the
10 million.
It's pretty expensive. 10 million, yeah.
And I think when Paul bought it, it was on sale.
Check the check your event. If you hit the E tab in your hangar, it'll bring up the event, and it'll tell you the try hard event. Like I've got 3 done.
Sorry about that.
So, and you can get C-bills for I got like 3 million C-bills just from that event. So.
I'm not overly worried about it. I'm just going to play it and enjoy it. I'm not going to get serious about this game.
Try to get the crab. It's fun. The King Crab is fun to play.
I've already got 7.8 mil. Like, I'll get there.
Yeah.
The best thing to do about the events is just check the tab every so often to see if you can unlock something.
Yeah, just every time you pop in, like when you get back into the hangar, you just click the events and see if you've got anything. You just hit, hey, cool, and just accept it. It's free stuff. So.
Okay.
It's free real estate. Yeah. It's just challenges. Think about it as kind of like weekly or daily challenges, but instead of like trying to go for them, as you play, you can unlock them just by playing them. Lone Wolf waiting on you.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Okay, I'm firing up the PCs. We'll be in Discord soon. I'll play mech with you until my warm up. Okay, let me know.
It's Dova Wolf.
Paul, I'm here.
Yeah.
Did you launch already?
Nope, not yet. I got you invited. Twistar.
Twistar.
Twistar. Star.
I got a 1 hour warm up timer going. So.
Really?
Is that a different build, Spartan? Never stop shooting. Is that the rack? I think you already gave me the rack.
I'll show you a rack. Okay.
Oh my god! I didn't even pay attention what mech I'm dropping in. I'm dropping in some Kit Fox. I think with a narc that I never really played. Oh my god!
I can cancel it. Here, search canceled. You can check it out now.
Matchmaking's been canceled.
Yeah, I just canceled it.
One
because Twistar.
I'm reporting you.
I gave you the rack. Yes, we are giving away for those of you guys who haven't been here, we're part of a giveaway from the Red Magic Mars team, who are giving away 2 $450 cell phones for free, as well as a $200 Steam gift card and 8 discount codes for their cell phones. So check it out. They do gaming cell phones. It's a pretty cool little thing. I can't necessarily recommend it myself, but hey, get into the giveaway, guys. They paid me to do it. Sponsored. So hashtag sponsored.
It would have sounded better if it was just Red Mars instead of Red Magic Mars.
Red Magic Mars.
All right, 55 tons. Is that a hunchback?
Here you go. I gave you the tonnage. You can use your Mag Dog.
You're a mad dog.
Wow, instant. Okay.
This is a missile boat. It's a troll missile boat with 6 LRM5s.
Yeah.
I can cover almost all tonnages, so if we need to lower or go up, I can go up and down.
From what I've heard, is the screen is a little low res, but other than that, it's a fairly good build. It gives you it is pretty top end technology in terms of the chips, and it's got air cooling, liquid cooling in it, and the only problem is like the camera's not really great. From what I've heard, is it's pretty low end, but it's all right. It's serviceable.
I never buy a phone for its camera.
Lurch. Yeah, I don't usually do that either. How you doing, Lurch? But yeah, get in on that giveaway, guys. They've sponsored all of this week's streams, so kudos to them through the Sensi Esports. Those guys who sponsored us through Red Magic Mars. So.
Red Magic Mars. It'll knock your socks off.
What's the one you linked me? Or the one I have? I'm not running XL. I'm running light engine. I don't know why anyone would want to run an XL outside of like a light mech.
That's what I'm doing. I'm having to like pull all my XLs out because light engines didn't exist, and that's what I was doing for like 2 weeks. Still not done because I got a lot of mechs.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see how I don't need to have all these mechs anymore because you don't have to level 3 of them anymore and stuff
I am
like that.
a moron. I thought I added this, but apparently I didn't. So I'm supposed to add this. So we'll do this again.
I like the new system, how I can buy a mech and just put my points onto that mech right away that I have stored. I don't have to level up the other ones I don't even want to. I like that.
Where it's not on here.
Reactor online.
Where are you? There you are. Oh, sorry about that. I was supposed to put that logo on the screen. That is Sensi Gaming, the logo. I think.
All right, guys.
Could be the Red Magic Mars.
All right.
Hit the R button and launch your targets up. I got the missiles ready to roar.
I peach.
I switched to my cataphract because I like it better. The Black Knight was nice, but it's just... I don't like...
Take on my spaceship. Might be best to stay up here. Take on my suit.
They're pushing up E-line.
I'm gonna wait up here for it now.
Artillery strike online.
Never. Ever.
They're pushing up D-line. D-line.
Oh, they're coming up the valley in the back corner, or are they coming right up the middle? Looks like maybe back corner.
Let's get some locks on them. Start beating them up.
Yeah, let's intercept them, guys.
Oh, thank you so much there, Drog, for 11 months in a row with Twitch Prime. You are a very important pubber, very impressive pisser, very good restaurant. This is your fault. You're the reason I drink at night. Thank you much, guys. Man, shots and cheers in chat, guys. Shots and cheers. All right.
Sorry, Griffin, that was me.
Are they going up
Sass
D-line,
and
is what they said?
Beta. Keep them locked.
D-line, right?
Yes, they're on the D line, supposedly.
2 Shadowcats with
New target
missiles
acquired.
pushing up Delta 7, both ECM.
New target acquired.
Target spotted.
That was a light mech who was hitting me.
New target acquired.
Light on stealth and running through a Raven looks like. Watch out.
I'm on a Cicada, Alpha, missiles. Can't hit them.
Some little fleet thing ran through. Watch for UAV.
E6. E6, we got Gamma.
One coming, Delta 8.
New target acquired.
E6, guys, E6. I got missiles on Charlie or
I'm
head.
taking a lot of damage, not doing a lot of damage myself.
Acquired.
Watch for
missiles on
Kodiak
Edward.
at 666.
Push D6.
New
Push-
target
let's push D6.
acquired.
Copy. Copy.
Missiles on
I
Farah.
pinch.
Not getting any locks,
New
E6. Are there any mechs
target
there?
Yeah, there's 2 mechs in E6.
Kodiak.
Warning, incoming
Gamma.
missile. Target destroyed. Warning, incoming missile.
Taking a lot of damage, having no support here.
Target acquired. Warning, incoming missile. New target acquired.
Missiles on J.
Looks like there's a group going Delta 7 to Delta 8 behind that rock.
My bad.
Flee
That's
and
what you
Delta
get for
6
standing in
running
front
now.
of me, Bull.
Sorry, Locust.
There's no salt. There's nobody left.
D7.
Do not go around the corner in Delta 7 behind that big
New
rock.
target
I'm so dead
They're all
here.
waiting for us.
Artillery strike online. New target acquired.
I'm gonna try missiles on Edward. Oh, lost them.
You got a light on your
He's
ass,
dead.
Paul?
New target acquired.
K, Arctic
Target
Wolf.
destroyed.
Oh, don't have them.
Locust is going out in
Need
the
some
open,
help.
Charlie 7.
Target acquired.
I am center court right now.
New
I'm
target.
pushing and take them. They're down. One big
On
push. and get 'em.
Charlie.
Bravo.
Charlie 7, Delta 7. Woo, let's do it.
Target
Bravo.
acquired.
On Beta. Keep them locked.
Here goes that assault.
Assassin's fucked.
Target destroyed.
Yeah. We got him now on the ropes.
Yep.
Oh, he's still that
Watch for the watch lights with stealth. Our lights should probably go back to our base.
They come around that way.
They haven't lost a single mech yet. They only have 4.
Yeah. Lights, check for the back cap.
Twister and
E6.
most lucky. Let's go around Echo 7. Cut them off.
I'm
Don't do
already
that
at Echo
shit.
7.
First off, don't use that language there, buddy.
Where do you at, though?
Second of all,
Being captured.
Hey, Corpse, how you doing, buddy?
wow, I was just gonna.
He just doesn't know how to make
Bases.
friends, and he's mad
One more
about it.
space.
Missiles
He didn't
on
learn the social
Farah.
skills in
Getting
school.
mouthed off too.
I'll put the helmet back on. You gotta be nice about it, though.
Being captured. New target acquired.
Okay. I think H.
Target destroyed.
One
Well, we
left.
got something.
Oh wow, look at that.
Looks like they're beer
Lots of
bottles.
people
They're
coming in.
working on it.
Did
Yeah,
that
I can
locust
understand it, man. Like,
ever
you've got
get
the
killed?
streamer gets a bunch of attention from people, and these people here like, hey, I want attention too. How can I get? I'm gonna
Anybody
go
kill the
the.
locust?
I'm gonna take shortcuts and get myself in trouble.
Locust.
You're good, Diablos. You can abandon him. I think he's with a bunch of other groups, so I'll ban him
Well, how
for
about
24
this?
hours.
Everybody at the
Enemy
base, go
base
get
is
their
being
base,
captured.
and those of us who are further away from our base, go cover our
There
base.
you go. Está bien, Thundercats. Está bien. We pinched, and we are victorious. We pinch.
Excellent.
I have no idea how much damage I did.
Victory has been achieved.
Enemy base is being captured.
So this laser outline, this is the base.
Yeah, this is the base right here. I'll stop right here just because I'm going to defend the base in case they decided to run back and back cap. There's probably one guy just disconnected somewhere in the back.
Is being
Hey,
captured.
Paul.
Yeah. Be careful, I am center cord, so I'm like one hit away from dying.
Don't touch him. Don't
Oh.
touch him.
I mean, really?
Oh, here he comes.
Is being
D7.
captured. Target.
Juliet, Mad Cat coming in.
How did we miss
Yep.
that?
Whoosh.
Target.
Oh, he's dead.
Rip.
I was gonna come back and shoot you with machine guns, Paul.
Good game, guys.
So how's A
I
Corp
think next
doing?
time if we all carried a little harder, we
We
played a little better.
pinched. We pinched.
We did it, man. We won.
We conquered.
We won.
We
I don't know. Can you hear me all right? Am I the
I
same
did
volume
so
as they
much
are?
less damage this time. I still got one killing blow though. That Fafnir, like I rounded the corner and the Fafnir was like, "Oh shit," and just fucking ended him.
We didn't lose a single mech, by the way.
All right.
The enemy was dropping pretty quick.
That's good.
520. It's for the actual the
Did
cell phone-
Oxford's auto
the cell
host
phone
kick in
that
yet?
were sponsored by essentially for this giveaway is I think it's like $390 to $420. I don't think there's anything. There may be some things that are close in range, but it's a fairly good for what it is. Message deleted. Message deleted.
What do I do with XP? Are there
Message
skills you can learn
deleted.
for your mechs?
Yes.
Oh.
So your mechs themselves, if you go into Mech Lab and you go to skills, you have different skill trees.
Ooh.
Firepower, survival, mobility. I don't know how many.
You
I have one.
Respec, or is it once you spent it, it's just spent?
Hold on. I'm getting some feedback on my end.
You
Go
can
ahead.
you can actually take points on and off as you will. It's just basically a cost. So like once you buy a skill point, you can always put it back on for no cost. But to buy new points, it's
Oh,
There's
you
a
spend coin to unlock it, and then you use your skill points, and you.
Well, yeah. You can
Yeah,
purchase it or you can use skill points.
yeah, use skill points or
Yeah.
or you
Trying
can
to
use
figure out what
sword
else I'd
points
have
or-
that's
or-
60 tons.
So it's yeah. So
So-
so there's a C bill cost and there's an XP cost or
Like a
a skill cost.
Stormcrow.
Yeah, the XP mechs cost. You also can use general XP, but I'm going to use the mech experience points. Like for instance, I'm going to get eight total skill points for 360,000 C bills
That's
and
later.
6,400 XP.
So
now I
how
can
do
go to my survival.
how do I make
That's-
my mech cool down quicker?
Heavier.
Because I am hitting heat like crazy.
Go to operations, quick ignition. You have heat containment, so you can go through that one. And we're gonna do range 1.
Do speed retention or improve
3.
gyros? Gyros, I assume. Does that help you turn faster?
If you look at it, it'll tell you what to do. Like operations, you can do quick ignition,
Oh.
and speed retention does maintain
the screen
speed after
shake.
being lagged, and then improve gyros is reduce the screen shake. Yeah.
Yeah, the improved gyros will help against crab attacks.
Crab battle.
And then do I want to do the heat containment 2 or heat containment 3 or both? Or
Heat containment 3 is going to give you higher percentage, but it depends because it also unlocks different things in the tree. You can always respec once you've done it, but you can't. But you don't want to buy more than the total active number of nodes you can get. Like for instance, my mech is 91. It may be standard 91 throughout all the mechs, but
Yeah,
Okay.
91's the maximum for all mechs.
All right.
The nice thing about it is that
Yes.
if you build it a certain way, you can always, for just a little more skill points usage, you can unlock more and switch back and forth.
We're going to do some lore tonight.
And once you have a node unlocked, you can always use it for it's basically no cost.
for anything, any cost, you can respec your entire skill
got a
tree,
Star
so you can play around
Citizen
with different
account, A-Corps?
skill sets. But you don't want to unlock
you
more
wanna
SP
go in the
than
Star
you have for
Citizen
nodes,
tonight?
which is like against for me is 91.
Walk around
Right.
some ships.
I mean, after
Fly
a
the old
while,
man
you'll have
around.
more than 91 nodes unlocked because if you try different builds, you'll notice that you might have more. But
Mm-hmm.
I can find somebody that wants to fly ships, man. I'll bring them, and they can fly
All right,
ships.
is there
And
other
I can work the
cooling
camera.
stuff anywhere in the trees? Or
No, you might want to do survivability because survivability will up your defenses against certain things as well.
survivability tree is always good, and the firepower tree is always good, and then everything else is just flavor for whatever works for you.
I suppose the firepower. Can I decrease how much heat I create?
You want to log in to Star Citizen and be my pilot
Yeah, the heat gen nodes will
after the news?
lower the amount of heat generated per shot.
What will a spicy taco do for me?
A spicy boy? It'll give you nice, good diarrhea for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
plus 5 heat for all your energy weapons.
Yeah, right.
Spicy taco.
Spicy taco.
Let me do it this way. I like the skill tree compared to what they had originally.
I should be just as loud as they are, if not a little bit louder. No,
The
I
skill
think.
tree is so much better than that was.
Can you hear me over
They
them
could
now?
change it and prune it a bit, but yeah, it's a big improvement.
So if
I think so.
decrease my laser duration,
Because it
do I
looks that
still
way on the
apply all
graphics.
damage I would have if it was longer.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, waiting. Cool.
We're waiting on Cupid and Twistar as well.
Can wait.
If you guys don't want missiles, I can go up 5 tons to a Hellbringer and brawl
we're
and do
max
ECM.
tons.
Okay.
We're max tons right now, so I could get out of my king crab, but I'm having too much fun with the damn king crab.
If you really want 5 tons, I can give you 5 tons. Just say the word.
No, I don't really want it. It's just whatever good for the composition is what I'm thinking. Whatever, I don't know what you guys are packing. If you guys don't, if none of you guys are carrying LRMs, then it's good.
Medium, I'm packing a medium range. I got two UAC 10s and MRM 40 on this thing. So
I'm just rocking a cataphract.
Well, if we don't have 2 missile boats, then we're good. We're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
Oh, I don't
Just remember
have
to lock it up for me, and I'll let it rip.
So what's the difference between XP and SP? How do I get SP?
so you go to your XP when you're buying XP. When you're buying SP, you hit like buy skill
I add
points.
SP. Okay, and it
Yeah, you can add SP, convert it from
That
your
popping
XP.
noise
That's
is
your general
them,
XP,
it's not
that's your
me.
Mech XP. That's the best thing to do, because your Mech XP is specific to the mech. The general XP you earn as
I
well.
hear a
but
popping noise.
you can convert that to any mech.
Okay.
So,
So,
unless you-
Yeah, general XP is your total pull for your account.
so I've only got like 6 XP. I can't apply even any of this stuff I'm doing. So I'm just gonna cancel out all this.
just cancel it for right now, yeah. Or if you want to do some, if you only have 6 SP, you can still kind of like work the skill tree a little bit.
I'm not even gonna mess with it at this point. I'm gonna stockpile a bit. Save
2
it.
million, 2 million more, and I'll be able to buy a cataphract. I think I might do that.
Are you using the
trial version.
trial version of the cataphract? Okay.
I'm kind of liking it actually.
I don't like the cataphracts because of how low the guns are, dude. If you're fighting on a hill, play with it on a hill for a little bit.
I do want to get that Jaeger, the Hunchback up and running again, but it'll take a while.
The Hunchy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hunchbacks are good because they got the guns on top,
Yeah,
so you
I
can
like-
crown the hill.
I was building a double AC-10 or a quadruple AC-10 Hunchback, but I still haven't built it yet. And I was actually on my other account, but I'm on this one, so which is better. I'm gonna stay on this one. Just change the password because I gotta remember it.
I actually figured out how to change everything except for my handle, so I may have to yell at who was the one that I have to yell at?
Darren.
Bombadil? Yeah.
Yeah, Darren. Yeah.
Mr. Bombadil, please.
Why do you have to yell at him? What did he do?
No, there's no way you can change your handle in game. And my
Twistar has been ready.
So I have to be like, hey,
I'm ready. It's not me. It's not me.
Darren, help a brother out. This name is back from closed beta days or just open beta days.
I got beer today. Hey,
on the-
Corpse.
Oh,
I got beer.
oops, I must have backed out when I went to go to the
Beer
store.
is
My
good.
bad. Sorry about that.
Yeah, when you're in the store, it prevents ready up and everything.
My bad. Sorry
Cool.
about that.
And away we go.
There's a way you can change your title, Harris. I know you can change your email. I feel like in the future, if they were to do, say, a MechWarrior Online 2, what they could do with skill points, instead of making them a mech-based thing, make them a class-based thing. Light, medium, heavy, and you earn them with those different classes, and then, because it kind of makes sense in that way, and that way you can customize your pilot to a specific type of pilot, and then respec as you need to.
There you go, Paul. You can change it there.
Oh, nice. Profile name.
Sweet.
Cool. I'll change that here in just a second.
Hey, Paul, did you end up
Garrus.
buying? Oh, sorry.
Did I end up buying what?
Did you end up buying one of those t-shirts I showed you? Can't talk.
No, I didn't. I will have to pick that up, though, unless it's not being sold anymore. The 40th anniversary shirts? Not the 40th anniversary. It's not been that long. 30th anniversary.
I got Astro Pub shirts and hoodies.
I was talking about the BattleTech shirt. There's a BattleTech shirt.
There's like a 30th anniversary BattleTech shirt.
35th.
35th, yeah.
It's a really cool excuse to wear those colors.
It's hard to believe I've been playing this game for 35 years.
The thing is that, like, BattleTech being 35, it means that BattleTech is older than I am.
Oh.
It is.
Then it costs MC. Okay. That makes sense. That's
not older than me, though.
That's
I remember it.
That's how Star Citizen does it, where the first change is free, but then everything after it costs money.
And I guarantee you, if you need to change it again for any reason, just ask Darren. He'll do it for you.
I don't mind paying. I don't mind paying MC for it as long as that. I'm just gonna change it to the Astropub. I peach.
Streamers
Peach?
get privileges.
Fuck off, dumb nerd.
No peach. Okay.
I could fuck your mom in half.
Oh.
Reactor online.
Lol.
Sensors online.
Was
surprised tonnage
Exosquad part
actually
of
matters on
BattleTech?
battle.
Yes, I think it was.
All systems.
Those are just smaller mechs, or more like battle suits instead of.
I think they're
full-on
battle suits, if I remember correctly. I know MechWarrior was actually an RPG game when it was first introduced, and then it got turned into this.
Your battle suit.
It was like a tabletop D&D thing, dude, with like dice rolling.
Yeah, it's awesome. But it's not just dice rolling. You got these little rangefinder things that you have to like use to see where you can hit the mechs if they're on a hill or not.
So we're almost.
I never played it.
That's really cool. I played it at a fan expo back in like when I was like 16 or something. That was really good.
Let the heavy assaults take most of the brunt. We can brawl.
Yep.
And when I was growing up, there was 2 rooms in the hobby shop: the D&D room and the mech room, and I was always in the D&D room.
Nice. I'm not much of a D&D fan. I like the D&D figures and everything, but I'm gonna go more for the BattleTech
We can get
stuff.
some guys on the high ground over in Golf 5.
I just gotta figure out.
They have to
I'm
come
not
here.
gonna be able to buy them
They're
here.
gonna get shot to pieces.
I have to buy them online.
So hold.
Yeah, let's hold here.
Hold the guys. Hold. Don't push.
Yeah, don't go under the platform.
I know understood. No,
Come back to G5. Golf 5.
Yep, just stay back here in the city. They have to.
Yeah, I got a bunch of missiles. I'm probably never gonna get to use this, man.
Do I have a waffle above my head?
You're gonna.
Or do I- or no?
Let's see. Well, you can push back from the line and use
I'm
some
gonna call
water
those
for
waffle
snake.
symbols.
They're gonna mostly be shorter range as well, probably.
Now over here.
I'm on a witness protection program. We need to change my in-game name for a new one.
Witness for
Yes, Thundercats.
Are they coming saddle maybe?
Yep, they're coming saddle. Or
Finally, we got a
Darwin's
game that's not
probably
raining and
full
it's
back.
Yeah,
not
we need to
snowing
back up
and it's
more.
not
If they're gonna get on top
storming
of
out.
it.
Cover your
It's
retreating,
clear.
but we won't be able to
clear
cover
day.
fighting there. Very likely, most
Really
of them.
can't wait for MechWarrior 5.
So
Pushing
far,
down?
it looks
Or
like
staying
it's
up?
just two to
Target acquired.
stay back. Just stay back.
Stay back, guys. Stay back. Watch out.
All right, A-Corps. I'm going to be in trouble, and this is going to be a real tough one for me, being a missile boat with all these buildings. And
I should have named myself Hamtaro. Would have been awesome.
I got to get a good spot. Too bad I don't have jump jets.
New target.
There's no angle on this side. They all got it covered.
I got Jaeger
Watch out,
Mech
they're low.
Delta.
You're taking hits, buddy.
Yeah,
You're
I
taking
know.
hits.
Oh,
Target acquired.
he's out of my range. Damn, my range is only 1035.
New target acquired.
Oh, I got F.
I'm gonna hide.
Oh, that was. I was wondering like, why there was red smoke on the ground. Apparently, that's.
They're up top right. They're in the
just,
top
if you're
right.
Getting shot and can't shoot back. Just take some cover. We'll cover you.
Oh, ow, that hurts.
Got that hunchy.
New target
Shit.
acquired.
Damn, I can't get nothing.
I
Not
am
getting
right
any
in the
love
shoulder.
with my missiles.
New target acquired.
But if that's all they have, they're not going to stop being up.
They're all top right now.
New target acquired.
Yeah, we got a bunch up top. Just take some cover from it. If you're being shot by more than one guy at any time, take cover. We want them to have to push out to
New
us.
target acquired. New target acquired.
You got a lot of AMS up there, so watch out.
I can't lock onto that one mech that's up there. It must be
Yeah, I'm not
easy.
getting any luck with my missiles at all.
New target acquired.
They're charging. Yeah, they had to charge
New
me.
target
They paid for
acquired.
it.
Holy shit, this thing is taking a beating and it's surviving.
New target
Sorry, I swung out
acquired.
a little wide into your shot there.
New target acquired.
Shit. I'm dead. I am so dead. We stayed back and got fucked. And I'm getting hit by my own teammates who are backing up into me. God fucking damn it, people. I can't do anything because they keep pushing me out.
New target acquired.
Alright, I'm pushing back. I'm just falling back.
New target
Our teammates are fucking
acquired.
morons at this point. Alright.
I don't know how I'm surviving
New
this.
target acquired.
Oh, come on, guys. Sorry about that, Thundercats. Let me give you a link permission. Got 10 shots left and I'm pogo stick.
New target acquired.
There we go. I'm down.
New target.
Oh, I didn't do a lot.
I don't know if I'm doing damage to that mech that I'm hitting up there, but... Oh.
Got him, Twister. Get him.
New target acquired.
That was a bad strategy on their part.
The
New
hell?
target acquired.
Oh my god. Wow, that was bad.
We gave up the high ground, so they basically rolled.
Warning, incoming missiles.
Put all those loyals on the other team.
Damage.
Are they at 12 men?
Not 12. Like 8 or something.
No, we were trying to do some voice chat in game, but the voice chat was like, "Hey, we'll stay back and let them come over to the ridge, and then we'll stay in cover." And that didn't work. And then what I kept happening is we had so many assaults who were trying to peak fight, and as a result, when I stepped out, I tried to step back. The other guys were stepping back and we were running into each other and doing damage to one another.
That's what
I was thinking about crossing the water and maybe getting a better arc if I would have crossed the water.
That's all right.
I mean, that strategy would have worked great if they were all a bunch of pugs too, but they weren't. They were a cohesive unit.
They were, yeah. Let's do it.
I rated up.
I got a couple more drops in.
Just a minute.
That's fine. It'll take a bit for us to find a new one anyways. Welcome, everybody. If you guys enjoyed this, please do hit that follow button if you haven't already done so. We are doing a couple of giveaways. We are sponsored for a giveaway by Red Magic Mars, !Red Mars in chat. If you guys want to get into that. We're also doing a giveaway for ourselves for the entire month of February. So in another day, it's ending tomorrow. I think it actually ends on Saturday. It's a ship from Star Citizen called the Prospector, which is a mining ship. So if you guys want to get on that one, feel free to do that as well. So yeah.
Oh my goodness. Drinking beer. Playing mech with Paul. Getting ready for
Someone
the news.
unfollows? I don't, no. All right, it's ready up. Go. Caustic Valley, really?
NASCAR Valley.
NASCAR Valley?
Jeez. Hottest map in the game.
It is the worst NASCAR map because if it's got a caldera and people just go around it.
Mm-hmm. No one wants to breach the caldera. Though I have seen some successful teams camp the top of the caldera and then just fan out and defend it. So if anyone who pushes will end up pushing into like a large group.
It's good for flanking, but then people overflank, which then it just becomes a race around the circle.
And you'll hate that in the crab. Trust me.
Again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us here tonight at the Astropub. Good to see so many people hanging out during Mech Nights.
Reactor online.
I'm still waiting for my mechanic to install that coffee machine.
Weapons online. All systems nominal.
I got a coffee cup I can put on the dash, I think.
Yeah, there was asking about my coffee cup. It's like, how does nothing falling out of it? It's like it's force fields. This future.
I'm pretty sure if IRL you had a coffee cup on your dash and you were taking hits, that would be really painful to have a hot coffee spill on your crotch during a battle.
Not rotate too much.
So what's going on, Private? Oh, I just had my coffee spill all over my crotch. God.
In a mech.
Yeah. It's like.
Wow, we've got ourselves a light lance here, don't we?
This reminds me.
Lightest lance in the game.
Planet reminds me of one of the moons on Hearthstone.
I got missiles if you guys lock it up.
Just saying. I'll say that now.
No, like the lance that I got dropped in is all assaults.
So I need to race car around the cauldron.
Artillery strike online.
I somehow took damage. I don't know how. I guess I did.
You probably
well, you're also in a dire well, so it's kind of hard to do that.
I'm sorry, that was me. I ran into your leg.
Yeah, I mean, we basically
really?
have to run full throttle the whole time, and then that really degrades.
At least I know I didn't step in an acid pool.
Alpha Urban Mech.
Yeah,
Irby, Alpha, missiles out.
Which I really hope aren't things.
We got Joy on Alpha.
Missiles out for Harambe.
Target spotted. These guys regret things.
He hates his life right now.
You're light or medium. Go fucking get those guys. Charlie 3.
No.
Not everybody turn around.
Don't squirrel. Wait for him to come.
Don't stay. The smaller guys. Smaller guys go get them. Phoenix, Hawking, stuff. Go for it. Turn around. Delta 5.
What's hitting me?
Delta 5. Turn around.
Leroy.
Oh.
Delta 5, multiple mechs on Charlie.
Charlie Annihilator.
I'm getting off this hill.
New target
Echo.
acquired.
Echo missiles out.
New target acquired.
We're gonna get overrun from Delta 5. We need you guys to start returning fire.
New target acquired.
Delta 5. It's hot.
Delta 5.
We're actually in a pincher from C3 and Delta 5. I got missiles on the rear going to C3 beta.
Watch far side.
Artillery strike.
Missiles on beta hard.
Backing up into allies because they're just standing behind me. I'm over.
Switching targets over to Alpha. Missiles on Alpha. Irby mech.
Oh, nice. I got that killing blow.
New target acquired.
Back to 0. That's good.
Target acquired.
Delta. Irby. Don't go chasing them. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the rivers and lakes that you used to.
Just about to fucking say that.
Beta. Irby mech.
We got a assault down here. Foxtrot. Mad Cat. Focus fire.
Target acquired.
Got him.
Mad Cat
job.
I thought they were heavy mechs.
Now they're assault.
Missiles on Edward.
You're fine. Sorry, I said that.
Take away my spaceship. Take away my suit. No pew-pews.
There's a lot of guys. Right
UAV up in the air.
I think we got a light over in the
You do not have
C5,
enough
B5
ammo
area.
on that Mad Dog.
Target acquired.
Woo! Thank you so much there, Minion, for 4 months in a row at Twitch Prime. You are a very important pupper, very impressive pisser, very neat pedestrian. This is your fault. You're the reason why I drink at night. Thank you much, man. Shots and cheers in chat, guys.
Come on, man.
You guys.
Okay, we still got plenty of missiles, guys, so don't be afraid to lock it up.
They're all there. Delta 4, Delta 3. Just get there.
I think they're all light. They're all lights.
Yeah, I was there fighting them all by myself.
So Paul, if I've got a light circle strafing me, what's my best
There's
strat?
more than just that urban.
Stay still. Go back yourself up to a
That's what I said.
like back yourself up to a wall and just keep fighting.
New target
Try
acquired.
to get around them.
Well, there's only 3 of them left, so just go over there
I
and
don't
kick
know
them in
why
the
I'd
face.
want to be walking across a active volcano, but
Well, we won't.
Okay, we're pushing.
Yeah, going through.
Okay, I'm on K. Missiles on K.
He's learned so much about fucking sit in space.
Target destroyed.
I'm glad that there's no volcano action in this game.
New
Life would
target
suck.
acquired.
Last man, that flea.
Target destroyed.
Good job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Game over.
GG. I pinched.
Nice.
We pinched.
We pinch and win.
We pinch. Distracted meching. Yes. Driving while piloting. I didn't do very good this time. I really didn't. We won, but I didn't do very good.
Sir, did you know how slow you were going?
So you were not fighting.
I didn't see any bullets come from your mech. All I saw.
Oh, hey, Haven. How's it going, buddy? Thank you for the lurk.
Hi, Haven.
I am ready. I'm gonna go get a beer. I'll be back.
All right, Haven. I found a new love. I fell in love with pinching. I pinch.
Careful, he'll pinch your butt. I'm just kidding.
We can get a follow command for Haven Kendrick. Fantastic live streamer here on Twitch.
No.
IP.
Just Monica, Haven. Just Monica.
I think I still have that.
How did that treatment thing go with your wife, dude?
Okay, I got him then. Oh, she went. It went well. She ripped out 3 sensors, and was impressed that I managed to rip out 3 sensors. 2 Rack 2s, 2 AC-10s, and 2 medium lasers. Now people can give me some good. Thank you, Diablos. Yeah, King Crab. I've got the King Crab 000B. Let me check something real quick, actually, while we wait. Do one quick change to this. Ballistic AC-10s. Take out the UAC ammo then. AC-10s.
All right, I'm back.
And then you do full DACA. Is that what you do? Huh.
Paul, listen to this build, okay? Because you want DACA, get a dire wolf. 3 AC-2s, 3 AC-2s, 3 AC-5s, and 4 medium lasers. And it doesn't get hot. You can fire those guns constantly. Infinite.
I call hacks.
For that extra spice. I'm gonna try this build just because it's wow, I don't even have to pay anything. Yeah, and AC-10s are still right. Okay. Because this is free.
And they go off at different speeds, and those 6 cannons will totally blind a person. Like, they can't do anything. They're getting hit so much.
I've been liking this MRM build with this just because when I like inevitably jam up with those UAC 10s, you can see them, like, you can visibly see them go like, oh, what? Okay. The crab has no claws, and suddenly just medium missiles just in their face. You missed it, Haven. There was a great moment where I led with the crab because the rest of our team was peeking. I just walked up and I think I got 3 kills, or like most kills, and I touched everyone on the map. Every single one of the other team. I felt invincible. It was just like, ah.
Hey, Varshama.
Hey, Surgery, how you doing?
We'll be doing the news in about 30 minutes. I'm just warming up. I'm over at Paul's stream playing MechWarrior with him.
Surgery Hobbit. Hello.
Reactor online. Sensors online.
A-Corpse is getting dinner.
Online.
We pinch.
All systems nominal.
You're doing the pinching, I'm just doing the shooting.
I'm supporting Paul and his crabs
CLR and ERK
with missile boat.
I'm not familiar with these.
Oh, what's that?
What's the RNG, CLR, and the ERK?
I'm not
Plan large laser?
No, on the top of the screen underneath the time limit.
Oh, that's for the P stain.
Yeah, the P stain.
Oh. And I just locked up.
Are we rolling with 3 crabs?
Fuck.
We have no, it's a marauder. 2 marauders and a crab.
Sad face.
All right, I got a bunch of missiles, but usually they're not too good on this map because of the bridge or the tunnel thing.
Artillery strike online.
I'll do what I can.
Really?
Alpha.
Target acquired.
Oh, he failed those missiles. Nice try,
Kintaro out on Alpha. Getting joy.
What? Fuck you.
I was getting shot at when I was over in D4. You heavies moving out there. Watch out. Getting behind you with missiles. Call it out.
New target
A couple
acquired.
lights running around.
New target acquired.
Oh, I am not facing that many people.
The E line cleared now.
I can take a lot of damage, but they're all over there right now. If we can swipe some around.
Well, let's grab the center position. Let's work the E line.
There's a guy up and to the left if you're gonna peek through that side.
Ow, that hurt. That was a really big, painful
That's the
hit.
guy.
They're all in the center, guys.
UAV activated. Right torso.
Push in.
I got caught out there a little too long.
Oh, yeah.
Took some heavy damage to my right torso. I gotta get the frick out of here. I'm too close to. I gotta get
They
back.
have me absolutely zeroed.
Holy crap! This ain't good. I gotta back out.
New target acquired.
Try to shoot through the hole here.
Woo! Ash, welcome everyone.
Oh,
to
yeah.
Ash's stream. My name is Paul Berserker01 Batman. Your
Getting
host
them.
and space bartender here. Ow! Jesus! I'm just taking a lot of damage suddenly.
I'm on
Is there
F.
someone over there?
Yep, he's peeking
At
up
the
that
Astro
ramp.
Pub. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We got a good one for you guys.
Strike
You may be trying to sweep around, so watch your back.
acquired.
Somebody shoot me in the back.
Yeah, someone
It's a
keeps
light.
shooting me in on
It's a
the
light.
Okay, I'm on India now.
Welcome, guys. We'll get in on this. This is the Astro Pub, your space bar at the end of Twitch.
New target acquired.
All right, I think we're gonna have to go in. I don't think we're doing well.
I got F's ready to pop for you.
New target acquired.
I'm down.
I'm dead. Went balls out too
As
early,
soon as
but
you left, you guys came around the flank.
yeah.
Cleared me.
Thank you, Ash. Thank you. People have been commenting on it a lot. I've been trying to up it because a friend of mine has like insane production quality in some of his streams. So I'm like, I gotta up my production quality. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We are doing a couple of giveaways here.
Missiles on India.
We're currently sponsored for this week from Red Magic Gaming, or Red Magic Mars Gaming, who are
Oh, I'm the last person left again. Oh, I love it.
Sensi Esports, who they're giving away a Red Magic Mars 2 gaming cell phone. 2 of them, $450. They're also giving away 8 discount codes for their store and 1 $200 Steam gift card. So exclamation point Red Mars in chat to get that one. So my ego will inflate. I don't know. I can barely get my head through the door. Can we get a follow command for Ash? Oh, you already did that. Thank you, Diablos. Exactly. Just I can't guarantee. I can't say that this is a great cell phone. From what I've seen in reviews, is that it's a pretty good budget cell phone if you're looking for something that's going to give you good performance at a lower price. And what they're trying to do is get more awareness out there because Nubia, I believe, is the company that makes it. They don't. A lot of people don't know they exist and that they make things like the Red Magic Mars 2. So that's why they're sponsoring these giveaways and this stream. So go check them out. The Starry Hipster Bar.
We lost somebody.
Yeah, we lost
me
Lemuel.
because my computer decided it was gonna lock up.
Mm-hmm.
A fun time to lock up.
Yeah, so budget. That's the crazy part, Sauce Joker. I know, but For the performance it gives. Oh, don't worry. This isn't a screen. You're just on space drugs, and they finally kicked in. Welcome to the Astropub.
Remember, kids, don't do Widow.
Gotta be some strong Black Widow, man.
The drugs have just activated, that's all.
They hate me.
I got ECM this round.
Good, good. Skirmish.
Well, I'll stay next to you so I don't get targeted.
I'm definitely looking forward to MechWarrior 5, though, guys. I am kind of just more than a little excited about MechWarrior 5. This may or may not be why I stream MechWarrior on Wednesdays these days.
He's getting hyped up for the MechWarrior 5.
I'm getting practice, man. I can't look bad when we're doing co-op missions.
Yeah, true.
Especially since we're going to be fighting against, like, God, probably several lances of mechs at once. That's going to be fun.
Dude, I saw tanks, dude. Yeah, tanks, helicopters.
Planes, helicopters. I don't know if they'll do power armored soldiers, but that might happen too.
I hope they do power armored soldiers because all the other ones had it.
Dude, what if they got the elementals and they crawl inside your Atlas, dude?
I think the time period for MechWarrior 5 though is not during the clan invasion.
Isn't it's right before it, isn't it? They've been doing it before. Oh, I'm definitely excited. Yeah.
This isn't the first MechWarrior 5 because there was a MechWarrior 5 back in like 1998 or something, wasn't there?
Yeah, it never got past the trailer and the lawsuit, I thought.
Yeah, and it's also MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, which is slightly different. Like, kind of, the Mercenaries line was sort of an offshoot from the MechWarrior series.
Yeah.
I think PJ put the Mercenaries in just to offsell it from that other failed launch.
Launch one, yeah. But, I mean, MechWarrior 4 was MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries, I believe. So...
The last MechWarrior I played was MechWarrior 3 Mercenary.
MechWarrior 2? Okay.
3. Oh, oops.
Several I saying was MechWarrior 2 was Mercenaries only.
Yeah, MechWarrior 3 was too, because I played it. It was awesome.
They all blended in together to me. I played them all.
Oh, also, hey, then if you're still down, just let me know if you're still available for that broadcast we're talking about on Saturdays. I've gathered a couple more people who are interested in that. So, has Vengeance? Okay, yeah. Then the Mercenary standalone expansion. Okay.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons.
I did play the MechWarrior games too, for Xbox.
Yeah, it's the tabletop game.
But my condolences for playing those.
What?
Yeah, the Xbox games it was the ones that I played for the MechWarrior series.
Yeah, I played MechAssault. Those were awesome.
Yep.
The fact that you could like. Go ahead.
I won't shoot you in the back for that.
I had a lot of fun with MechAssault when it was like 1 and 2.
Which way are we going, guys? I guess we're going this way. Everyone's turning around this way.
The hell
take away my spaceship. Take away my suit. No pew-pews. Never. Ever.
Are they doing this again?
I think they are.
Artillery strike online.
What are we doing?
I'm partying, so I'm stopping right now.
Partying.
Okay, I'm gonna go link up with the other mechs.
Oh, I got Paul's ECM.
We'll probably just meet up in somewhere around H6. Or Hotel 6, whatever you prefer.
Guarding the crab.
Shots and cheers in chat for Holly Spice Wolf. How you doing, Holly? Good to see you again. Of course, chat's like, no, you must party more.
Star, I love the color of your mech. By the way,
If you have legs, use them.
a nice green. I like that color.
Yeah, I'm painting all my mechs with EC colors.
It's almost the same color as the
Chat demands party. There will be party.
pedal. I have bike pedals on my mountain bike that are that color.
EC's actually got a mech guild now for MechWarrior Online.
Oh,
We
nice.
started it, yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Party one, anybody?
I couldn't resist.
I am the one and only. The one of your heart. The one of your dreams.
Anyone got good stories while we wait for the big guys to come by?
I was just gonna say, anyone got some jokes?
Any war stories? Hello.
Crab.
Target acquired.
Stormcrow.
Crab.
F him up.
Stormcrow?
Crab people.
Okay, I'm gonna give him me to look at.
I like that idea. Let's not be here. This is a bad place.
New target acquired.
Got Farah.
New target acquired.
I don't know why I'm flanking with this thing. This is not a flanker, but I'm gonna roll up on their flank.
Oh, we're with you.
Because you got ECM and you're getting brave, I think.
Well, or unless you want to move the entire, unless you want to flank around, probably not the smartest idea, but you can go ahead for it.
To go after their missile flangers.
Yeah, back over here. Let's climb up here, then make our way over.
Okay, we got the crab flank going on, guys.
That's okay. They can come. We can split them up. They're gonna have to send people over.
Your crab's getting ready to flank under ECM over here in I-7. So so just hang in there, guys. We're coming.
I want to be able to.
We're getting ready to open up on them.
So bad.
I'm being missiled. There's an assassin in there as well. I'm being missile spammed. Uh-oh, they're coming over the hill.
I'm going over.
I'm pushing with you.
I pinch.
Move out. Hotel 7, go there.
I got him looking at me out here, poking him. You guys should be clear. I delivered the crab.
Oh, those missiles.
Assassin's getting a bit too big for his britches.
Oh, more missiles. Oh boy, there's a bunch of them there.
Assassin's weak.
Again, trees.
Oh. Oh, no, don't overheat. Wake up.
Whoa.
The fuck is going on
We
here?
got like 4 of them there in that flank.
Oh man, I am so toast.
Get out of
That
there. Get out of
assassin
there.
wouldn't be bad.
There's nowhere for me to go and I'm overheated.
Oh, we have totally broke their assault too. That basically saved the entire guys because they were in a bad position.
I'm coming to assist with Gamma.
Take him down, Gamer's Delight. Take him down. Oh, he has
Nice.
nothing.
He lost all his weapons.
He's just like, well, I'm just gonna, I'll bite your kneecaps off.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he is so screwed. I totally messed him up too, because I came over the hill and that was what I saw.
Oh
no!
4
That
versus 3.
assassin-
We've still got one up.
That assassin wanted me so bad, man. He paid for it.
Help! On me!
Target destroyed.
He's dead.
Oh.
There's one left. Or two
We're
left,
on
really.
2.
Target acquired.
Okay, guys, you can win.
Labo's overheat. Put on the
You
pressure.
got this. Stick together.
Watch
Last
your
one.
Stalker. He's running hot right now.
Stay
back
frosty.
online.
Target acquired.
Lone, watch out. Just back away, back away. You're overheating.
Yeah, I know.
Twist, twist, twist.
I can't take much more of this.
That's why you gotta twist.
Target destroyed.
Good job.
Good game, guys. I can't believe with those opening minutes that we still won.
I
had no doubt.
We flanked. I flanked with the crab. I pinched.
All according to
As soon as I saw our team engage and us not being noticed, I knew we were going to win. I was like, this is going to work. I'm going to stay back right now, start firing at them while Paul moves in, and it did what it was supposed to do.
So I did what I'm supposed to do, and I agree with Haven on this thing about assaults. Assaults are big and batty and heavy, and what I did was to just charge into the middle of them and started shooting them, and they weren't paying attention to me. So I killed 3 of them off the bat and wounded a lot of them. And then we jumped into a group of 5 of them. I just stayed in and hit as hard as I could, killed one and messed up the others. So by that time, their attack had been scattered and not coordinated. They were paying attention to too many different sides. And because they hadn't been paying attention to the flank, they were dead. Like that was, I didn't do a lot of damage, but that was tactics. Yes, they still have heat weapons. You can use flamethrowers. There are entire builds and mechs built around flamethrowers.
Hey, Kool-Aid. We're going to do the news right after the next match.
I would like a steampunk style.
We'll be right about when the timer runs out.
This thing.
More mech games would be
That
good.
was exciting, dude. That was an exciting match, dude. I really enjoyed that, dude. I was like, dude, I got the ECM. I'm bringing the crab in. That was so cool.
Yeah, it's been fun since I put in the crab. I put in the crab, and suddenly I feel like I'm actually doing something instead of just sort of dying all the time.
Well, I've got 13 mil. Should I buy a crab?
You want to buy a crab?
I don't know. Should I buy a crab? I don't know what I want. I don't know.
Did you like my just wandering in and just shooting everything that moves?
Yes.
Then yes, get the crab.
I like being tanky. I like overextending, and I like just pooping on people.
Yes. I've gotten more kills in this crab than I have ever gotten before in a crab.
I can agree with that.
Which one? The
I usually get the
B or
king.
the
I have
BC?
the 000B is what I have.
All right.
If you want to try about the same one I have.
I don't know. Like, what's the difference between them? Like, I know
the difference is the hard points is pretty much the major difference in terms of what they carry. I think I agree with QPan in that the 000B is the most flexible because it's got some energy hard points, missile hard points, and DACA, the ace, the ballistic hard points.
Mm-hmm.
You can switch it up and you can pretty much put whatever you want. You don't have to put all. You can put all DACA and with some missiles and some lasers. You can mix it up, mix and match.
Well, now that I'm getting more comfortable maneuvering around, it's not as important for me to mono, but I'd kind of like some variety.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
Yeah, this one is good because you can you don't necessarily monoboat, but if you put like I've got my DACA and I've got my MRM 40. So I go in and I fire my DACAs, and as they come at me, I just unload with the MRM 40s, and if they which are 40 missiles, medium range missiles that hit them at once.
Yeah, well, it's been bought.
Yeah,
and purchased.
All right. Pull it out. I'm gonna change my Mac.
Assault. Oh, there's a King Cab trial mech, and it just happens to be a 000 BC. So I could have tried it. Oh well.
Yeah.
I own it now. It's just done.
All right, ready up. Let's do it. Anyone want to drop 24 more tons? You can. I'm rolling in my my pea shooter build now.
Can we not launch?
Yeah, it's free on Steam.
Oh, you're limited to how much tonnage you can have in your group. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll roll with the commando.
I could quickly switch it up if you wanted me to.
Nope, we're good.
Okay.
Just note that I'm going to be way ahead of you. And Hugh Ben is his rifle builds. He's got the distance shooter too.
You might not have a clue how to play this.
Is a
I'm going to be
mech,
clumsy
so
as I'll get.
Stay back with whoever I can.
Just make sure you have your loadout ready, because I think it comes standard with 2 UAC 10s.
Yep, I'm rolling stock. I don't want to waste any of you guys' time messing with it.
UAC 10s and lasers. I think they're medium lasers, and then LRMs. Don't worry about the LRMs. I just focus on the UACs and the lasers when you got them.
All right, I'm back.
Any idea what the stock key is for third fire? Is it mouse
3.
back?
Are you talking about like for alternating fire?
No. For the fire group 3.
Be my last match for MechWarrior.
The three button on.
And then we'll do the news.
And 3 button on the mouse.
Get it started. We're gonna do some lore tonight for Star Citizen.
And that's my missiles.
I think so.
I'll figure it out.
Grim Lexus. Oh, we're on Cybertron.
Mm-hmm. Cybertron.
Before time began, there was MechWarriors.
In time began, there was the all spark. Mechs everywhere.
I love it. So was the terraforming incident that you spoke of in the lore video this week, Galactic Historian, was that the same event on Garon, the Garon system?
Yeah, it's the Garon Massacre.
Yeah. Is that the only one they did?
They've probably done other ones, but the Garon Massacre is the only publicly known one in lore.
Yeah, and they're trying to restore the planet now and all that.
But they've already killed off, genocided the entire goddamn planet, so they're trying to restore it to what it was as a memorial to the entire planet that we wiped out.
Is that planet that you go into when you want to go into like a free mode in Star Citizen? You see those big giant terraforming things?
No, that's different. Those are that's from Broken Moon. That may actually be Garon. I don't think it is. All right, I'm a ghost. Later, boys.
I don't know how many times I've flown into those lasers. By accident.
Too many times.
Yeah.
Am I the only light? I'm the only light.
Oh shit.
Oh.
I met a crater. I sneezed.
Figure out which one you would switch.
What's the how do I get into the mouse controls?
It's
so I can switch
it's the arrow keys and then I believe control. Right control.
What? We got a crab way out in the middle of nowhere. Gonna die.
My missiles were on my push to talk button. Oopsies.
Oops.
All right, Numsy. I got this magic device. It makes you invisible to the radar.
I'll wait for the engagement to start and then I'll try to flank around.
Okay, I'm bringing the crab in with ECM. You never been in a crab before, have you?
Nope, he's been in like 2 mechs.
He just bought it.
Just bought it.
Nice.
It's got that new crap smell.
Okay.
It's got
Now
that fishy smell.
the important is that you take a deep breath before you press the mouse button when you go to shoot somebody, and then exhale that breath really slow, kind of like when you're shooting a gun. Okay, don't get too excited, otherwise you'll move. You just aim it right at the cockpit and hold it.
Hold what? It fires once, and then it has a long cooldown, and then it fires again, and there's a long cool.
Just keep holding it there, nice and steady.
Shit.
All right, we got a couple
Because
guys
you
on the
can't run
F7.
away.
Coming down the 7 line or the F line right now, guys. F line. They're pushing F line pretty hard.
Alright, we're in G8. We're moving in with the crab.
I'll back up with you guys.
I'm with Q-Pan and F8.
Target acquired.
I'm gonna flank around through the H line.
Acquired.
I'll scream if I see anybody. Nope, they're coming through.
You got one on your left.
Through
You got one on your
line.
left.
I'm on your 6
Go for H. Go for H because you don't want anything to get behind you. That's your weakness in the crab. Don't let nothing get behind you. That's why I'm here. He's gonna come up on top of the hill. There you go. Blow him up.
Artillery strike online.
A piranha is heading towards you at your back.
Target spotted.
The leg's gone, but I'm running away.
Looks like he's just spot strike.
Oh! Stop it.
You see them all? I just popped a UAV. Use this building for cover. They know you're here. With that crab. So use the building for cover and like set your legs to go back and forth one way. And when use your body to go the other way. A stalker's coming up.
New target acquired.
See a Warhammer chilling off. I think he's trying to flank around to the right. No, he's just using the line as
So are
cover.
we gonna make a move, or are we just gonna be lurmed to death?
Shoot
Hey man, I'm in the light. Let the heavies do that.
Oh, they're all in F7, dude. F7, E7.
Well, I'm gonna make a push. You're invited to join.
Let's do it.
Incoming missile.
I will. Well, apparently nobody else wants to join you.
Well, I'm not gonna sit here.
Oh shit.
Well, I'm here too.
Wow, whoops.
Target spotted.
Direwolf, die shoot.
Torso critical damage. Torso destroyed.
Someone get this light off.
Right arm destroyed. Center torso critical damage. Autocannon destroyed. Heatsink destroyed.
Oh Jesus.
We hit Bravo.
Delta Nova.
I'm down.
I'm gonna hit this dragon.
Warning incoming missile.
Target spotted.
Target destroyed.
I have a light on me, so I'll get him off.
Need assistance.
Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh no, this is bad.
Why is no one taking these lights behind us?
No. Oh, I'm down. That sucked. We're still winning by 3. Nobody die. We're up by 3. Regroup. We're up by 5.
Getting away from that guy.
Regroup.
There's 2 of them still alive. They're probably both lights. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
If I can get a good shot on him.
You look like you're in bad shape there, Zerg.
Oh, I am in super bad shape. I am 1 hit away. Like that. Yeah.
Oh, that hurt.
6 on 2 though.
Nobody die.
No, that guy's dead. That's a learn boat.
He's not good for close range.
He's got some SRMs, but that's it. So they just got their light left, and that's it.
Yeah, I've lost him. I don't know where he went.
It's okay. Cap. Just go back and just defend the base while we cap. If he wants to play a little run around lighty. Two people cap while the rest of them protect their base. If he wants to be a little run around lighty, he's just going to lose the game.
We're going to do the news. Start getting that ready.
Sorry.
F5, E5.
Target spotted.
Target acquired. Target destroyed.
GG. You just blew him the F up.
Nice.
Smoking.
He's smoking.
That was kind of a brutal death.
I guess I got 5 kill assists, which is not too bad, I guess.
Woo!
All right, Paul, it's time for me to do my thing.
Thanks for hanging out, man.
See you later, dude.
Was that a dragonfly or a
Yeah,
flea?
you guys have fun.
There, God mode. Hey, I got a supply cache.
I got an achievement saying big helper. Even.
Inventory.
Yeah, 4 mil.
All right, off with Discord. Get ready to go into the news. Star Citizen news. See what's going on. Oh, yeah. And I was playing MechWarrior with the Astro Pub. And, yeah, MechWarrior's on Wednesdays. Just Star Citizen on other days. And, yeah. The Astro Pub. If you're not following the Astro Pub, you should probably follow the Astro Pub. Good times. Lots of good times. All right. So, dun, da, da, da. Going into news mode. All right. There we go. Star Citizen news. I don't think Will the Daylight Gamer's gonna have anything for us. She don't. STL Youngblood. Week ago. And Tactical Advance. Nothing from him this week either. Come on, Montoya. Give us something. A week ago. Star Citizen News has been disappointing. Minion Soldier. 39 minutes ago. Got a video to watch. Minion Soldier. PS. Too early to tell if PvE servers are even needed. Okay.
Now, recently we dealt with the topic of PvE versus PvP servers. The idea that there should be PvE servers, with some players obviously very interested in that sort of thing, which is kind of more of a training wheels World of Warcraft type universe, rather than, you know, the universe that CIG intends to create. But is that necessarily going to be a fix? Is there a problem that really needs fixing? Certainly, the universe in its current state may not look all that great to a lot of people, but is it going to stay that way?
I don't know, Minion. Tell us.
Now, the current state of the game, the way things are right now, if you look at a profession like mining or trading, do you see it as a complete system? No, you don't. You know that this is the tier 0 implementation and that there are other features, other things that are going to be brought online.
What's up, Zane
and there are
Kyber?
going to be adjustments
Nice to
made
see you,
along
buddy.
the way based, once again, on player feedback to, you know, kind of course correct a little bit and make things as enjoyable as possible for the players without making them too easy or too brutally difficult, right? That's something that we accept is going to happen. Now, just as you would expect that the systems that define these professions are incomplete and unfinished, you can still say the same thing about the law and order system as well. And one of the things that you may look to in the future, certainly in Star Citizen, is the fact that as things become more sophisticated and as more systems are brought online, some of which is going to basically come into existence because of player behavior. As we go out and as we do these things, you know, I made a show about this a long time ago where I said things like people stealing your ship off of the landing pad before we could lock ships, all that sort of stuff. CIG has taken steps along the way to see what emerges, you know, from players' gameplay, what emerges from players' experimentation with what's possible with the game, and then what steps they have to take to control certain things that are unreasonable and, you know, kind of go a little too far. Certainly when we look at the problem of locking ships, you know, that emerged from even all the way back in the 2.0 days of, you know, you would call up a ship and then someone would just hang around on the landing pads, hop in your ship and fly away. We've done this before. I've shown videos of this before. Way back in the day, I did a whole series of videos where people would call up ships and then I would just hide in their ship and I would say, you know, and I made a video saying that this doesn't work. This is something that needs to change.
I remember
because
those
I could
videos.
show that as soon as they got in their ship and flew away, I could just turn around and kill them while they were flying their ship and then take their ship. And I was like, this is a stupid system. Now, what it stands to evolve in the future is that, you know, once Olisar is removed from the game, as CIG intends to do, they're going to replace it with much more of a hangar-based system, which means that that hangar is kind of locked to you or to whoever else is in your crew, so you can't just get down to that hangar unless you pulled out a ship. So it's going to make it a lot more difficult for people to sneak aboard your ship. And the entire law and order system is going to evolve very much in that way. Though what happens to you right now might be an inconvenience or something that you resent, it has to happen because CIG needs to see what is possible, what rules can be broken within that system so that they can shape the system in the future to counter, to a certain extent, some of that behavior while still maintaining a certain amount of that risk. Now, one of the reasons why you see this type of behavior is because there's nothing to do in the game. There really is, for a lot of people out there, unless you're a miner, unless you're a trader, there's really no true inkling of your profession in the game, bar some basic bounty hunting missions, which are basically just go here and kill this person. There's very little to do. So there's a lot of ships, this ship in particular, the Reclaimer or something like the Herald, they're dead ships in the game. Their sole purpose is a profession that hasn't been rendered into the game yet. So there's really nothing that they can do, right? And with so many people, just sitting around waiting for their profession to be brought into the game in any reasonable way, idle hands, right? Now, as I had just said before, this kind of works to CIG's long-term benefit, because as all this tomfoolery happens, players go out, they experiment with different things. CIG looks at this and says, this is something we need to get under control, or maybe this is something that we want to kind of encourage or explore in more depth, that sort of thing. But it can also work against CIG, because it can create an overinflated kind of sense of panic in certain players, saying, oh, this is all the game's ever going to be. It's just going to be nothing but griefing. The sky is falling. It's the end of the world. This is how it's going to be in the future. And there's really nothing in the game that indicates that this is going to be a persistent state throughout the entire history of Star Citizen. In fact, in general, it's probably going to slide the other way. Now, look at the idea of 10% players, 90% NPCs. Now, this is often something that's mistakenly attributed to other things. Like players tend to kind of go, oh, well, it's 10%, safe and 90% PvP, or they try to misuse that idea that CIG put out there. But if you think about a universe that's 10% players, 90% NPCs, the idea is that this universe is going to be heavily populated with a lot of ships. Now, let's say you're the average pirate. Which ship are you more likely to attack, Are you going to attack a bunch of players moving together in a convoy? Or are you going to attack the lonely NPC cargo ship? Recently I talked a little bit about the Tram and Myers run, or I've brought it up a couple of times, because a lot of people kind of remain somewhat unaware of this thing. But if you look at the Tram and Myers mining site on Chelon, and you go to Port Olisar, you realize that between these two locations is a straight shot in quantum. And if you have a big enough cargo ship, even though Tram and Myers is an unguarded landing site, you can basically back and forth between these two locations. And even though the profit margins aren't all that high for a smaller cargo ship, a much larger cargo ship can essentially just go back and forth, and it's a very small moon with a very thin atmosphere, so it's easy to get through, and you can just endlessly make money. If you have a big enough ship, all of a sudden something like Jumptown, you realize how trivial Jumptown really is. But when you think about NPC cargo ships and the amount of money that you can squeeze onto a ship currently, depending on your cargo, and you think about NPC cargo ships carrying those cargoes, how lucrative would that be in the current game system if you could attack those ships and steal those cargoes? Yeah. Pretty damn lucrative, pretty damn profitable. And so if you have NPCs hauling all this money, all this value out there in the universe, and NPCs generally are a much more predictable enemy than a player is, which would you prefer to go after? Now, I'm sure that there's a lot of players out there in the universe who would like to tell you that, piracy is all just about griefing and all about just ruining other people's days. But piracy is a business that exists for profit. You're doing it to make money. This is how you intend to make money in the universe. And what you want is reliable income. You have a crew to pay. You have a ship to sustain. You're going to have to think about, module maintenance. All these different factors when you're out there in the universe. Right now, the current universe is in no way indicative of how you're going to have to manage a very large ship in the future and all the things that you're going to have to take into account. All of a sudden, you look at something like an NPC cargo ship and you realize that's going to be a very predictable and stable source of income versus a player who could be anywhere at any time. An NPC is going to be much more predictable, not only in where they're going to be and what they're going to be carrying, but what you're likely to face in terms of difficulty, something that you can plan for, something that you can strategize around much more easily, and therefore are much more likely to be successful at trying to extract an income from. When you look at something like the 90-10 ratio, right? Remember that applies to pirates as well, and so it's not simply going to be 10% players and 90% cargo ships in the universe. There's also going to be police ships. There's also going to be bounty hunters. Remember that a pirate is probably going to have some kind of a criminal status in the universe, which means not only are there going to be players hunting them, but there are going to be NPCs hunting them as well, along with the local police forces. So chances are they are going to have a fairly difficult life. So to say that pirates are going to continue to dominate Jumptown, or that Jumptown will even exist in the future, is a pretty iffy gamble to kind of sit there and say, oh, this is how it's going to be. Pirates might face a very difficult reality in the future where they just can't go around shooting at anything they want. And they may have to be very careful about where they apply force and if they apply force at all. We really don't know how all of these things, the reputation system, how all these things are going to pan out in the future. So to say that we're at a point right now where we need to start considering, PvE and PvP servers, I think that that's a bit of a stretch. And until we've seen all these systems working together and we've seen what the reality of criminality in the Star Citizen universe is really going to look like, it's too soon to kind of sit there and say, oh, no, we need PvE servers. We need this. Look at the game right now. It's a disaster. Everyone's a griefer. We need PvE servers. We don't know how all this is going to pan out. We don't know how personal responsibility for your own ship is going to pan out. Are you just going to keep getting ships out of a vending machine like you do now? Or is it going to take a lot longer to replace those ships, forcing players to be a lot more careful about what they do, and not only just the players who intend to work on the legal side of the universe, but the players who work on the illegal side of the universe as well. Something as simple as ramming ships off of a landing pad at Olisar might be prohibitively wasteful to the point where players just don't see the point in it. And of course, when all this changes and you get hangars, that's probably going to be something that just isn't possible anymore. So to sit there and say that, this is what the game needs, I think it's way, way too soon. There's a lot of things that have yet to come into place that are going to kind of not stamp out, but dampen to, I think, a heavy degree this type of behavior in the Star Citizen universe. Anyways, that's the show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.
All right, that was our pal, Minion Soldier.
Thank you for watching.
I'll put a link to his video here in chat for you guys. Please like and subscribe if you liked it. I'm sure he would appreciate it. And then we go on to Citizen Gamer, but I don't think they're going to have anything. No. Super Mac brother? No, nothing new. Okay. Board Gamer. We didn't get a video from Board yesterday. We got like a 1 hour stream of something that he did. He's been doing these streams. I'm at work and I can't watch them, but I encourage you guys to follow him on Twitch, Board Gamer, and watch these streams he's been doing. I think he's taking Star Citizen more seriously, and he's getting into the game and playing around with the stream. Should be a really good time. All right, here you go. Board Gamer subscriptions, videos cost over 3 million. What?
I wanted to do a breakdown. Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Today I wanted to do a breakdown of RSI subscriptions, what they're supposed to be, what perks they give, are they worth the cost, what content it's supposed to support, and my thoughts on that content, problems with it, solutions, a bit of a rant as well, and talking about Star Citizen official video content and what $3 million plus each year is being spent on, or supposed to be spent on anyway. So what are RSI subscriptions? They are voluntary monthly subscriptions that started in 2012 to help fund the Star Citizen project in very specific ways. Today, this now helps pay for video and behind the scenes content like Calling All Devs, Around the Verse, Reverse the Verse, Ask the Devs, as well as the Jump Point magazine, which is the monthly digital magazine about Star Citizen. This revenue also funds the development and release of subscriber exclusive perks like the monthly Hangar Flare series, which has moved on to armors and weapons as well now. There's also some exclusive subscriber merchandise available as well, like t-shirts and that sort of stuff. So what do subscribers actually get? Subscriptions come in two flavors. Centurion for $10 a month, that's the sort of like standard subscribers, and then Imperator, which is $20 a month, the more premium subscribers that get a little bit more. All subscribers get a monthly newsletter detailing the additional perks that they have access to, as well as some extra news, some exclusive little behind the scenes stuff, some other little bits and bobs. I quite like that newsletter. Sometimes it has some interesting bits in it. All subs also get Jump Point, Star Citizen's official digital magazine, including behind the scenes, articles and interviews into the development process of Star Citizen and Squadron 42. Subscribers can also access the entire collection of Jump Point back issues at any time. Jump Point is released the third Friday of every month. There's First Wave PTU access, which sometimes I refer to as Wave Zero. This allows you to get very early access to Star Citizen's persistent test universe. There's a monthly ship that's flyable every month, different ship. Flare, so subscribers receive an exclusive digital flare item each month, from hangar collectibles to in-game special skins. These are awarded monthly. This also allows access to the Flare store, where previously issued pieces are available for purchase. Imperator level subscribers also receive a special variant in addition to their standard Flare item, so they basically get 2 Flare items a month rather than 1, and it's normally just a slight sort of like color change or tweak or slight difference to that standard item. Subscriber Flare is attributed the second Wednesday of every month. For those that subscribe over the weekend after that, you still get that flare and it will be attributed to your account, or attributed, in fact, on the following Monday. There's some rec that you get given. So rec is the currency for use in Arena Commander at the moment. Centurion level subscribers get 20,000 rec a month. Imperator level subscribers get 40,000. The subscriber den, so you get access to an active subscriber and dev only chat room and forum. There's early access to purchase event tickets as well, so things like CitizenCon, that gives you an opportunity to secure a spot before other people can. The Vault, you get access to the Vault, which contains collections of Star Citizen concept art and work in progress renderings. The Vault is updated every Thursday. There's a town hall. Now, every month there's supposed to be a town hall. Subscribers can submit questions for the developers, some of which will be answered in the monthly town hall web series. So they've actually expanded that out really now to take questions weekly for Reverse the Verse, but sometimes they have these sort of like more town hall specials as well. Merchandise discounts and exclusive digital sales are also part of subscriptions. So you might have limited ship pledges through the RSI store that are exclusive as well. Talking about discounts, there's also discount coupons. After 12 months of subscription time, you are eligible for a discount coupon. The coupon is a one-time use on digital products, capped at a maximum of $50 and 10% off for Centurions, and $100 and 20% off for Imperator level subscriptions. These coupons can't be used on subs, rec items, merch, tickets, promo pledges, or buybacks. Imperators do get some additional perks as well. You get Imperator Test Flight, So you'll have 1 week to test, fly newly flight-ready ships and variants with the live quarterly releases. So literally, when a patch goes live, all those new flyable ships and variants that they've just added, you get to fly them for a week. There's also some Imperator level events that they're supposed to have as well, which gives you sort of like exclusive potentials to go to studio tours around the globe and other upcoming events. And they are typically going to be ticketed events as well, first come, first serve sort of basis, but that's access for Imperator level people. I'm not sure if I keep on saying Imperator properly, but you know, who knows? So how much do subs generate at the moment for CIG and Star Citizen? The latest official figures we have on subscriber counts are from the 2017 financials that CIG released, and they are pulling in, apparently, over $3 million a year. Now, I would expect that figure in 2019 to have grown somewhat, maybe closer to 3.3 or 3.5 million. So, what exactly does this fund today? As of February 2019, it appears that just weekly Around the Verses, Reverse the Verse, and then the monthly regular subscriber perks are being funded by subscriptions. Around the Verse is the weekly Star Citizen news and project update. They show off the latest work on the game, what's coming soon, and some deeper dives into certain features of the game and some ships that are coming out soon, work on various aspects of sort of like hot topics and things that the community want to see. Reverse the Verse is typically a live questions and answers with devs about a recent topic that may have been highlighted on Around the Verse, or from the forums, or hot topic because a major patch is about to release, or they've just had a CitizenCon. Sometimes these might be town halls, interviews with key devs, game dev specials where they might have someone from a discipline to make a new animal or little physics game. So they've made a basketball mini game before, and Vandal Hounds, crotch spiders, space whales, and more in these live past shows. And some of them have been pretty damn good. Recently, though, they canned Calling All Devs, which is actually one of my favourite shows. This was pre-recorded questions from the community, answered by an appropriate dev, and provided a huge amount of info each week on the project. It also looked reasonably low effort in production costs, but provided a amazing amount of information and was just fantastic as an idea and a show. It's worth mentioning that historically, CIG do change, add, evolve, and remove video content. And this is very likely what's going on in the background now. They're trying to work out some bits of what they want to do in the future, some new shows, that sort of stuff. The start of 2019, however, has been very scarce when it comes to video content and news. Around the Verse is a bit too short now. Reverse the Verse is sometimes great, but hit and miss with topics and the choice they make on those topics, in my opinion. Calling All Devs being canned is lame. Once subscriptions hit a certain level, so that maybe all perks, because they need artists to make these flair and that sort of stuff, and some of the perks do require manpower to actually get done, and that Around the Verse and Reverse the Verse shows are paid for, then they should be using that additional monies to produce more shows and maybe improving quality of the current ones, providing more, not less. I would assume that they are a magnitude above what they require for their current shows. As a little suffix to that statement, I do want to say that it's quite possible that some of that money is being used on other bits I'm not aware of in the background, and some other content they produce is subsidized or whatever by that. I want to talk about some of my opinions and talk about, are subscriptions worth it? So if you want the sub perks, you like the flair, you like the perks that they give, and you want to back towards those potential shows that they might produce, then subscribing may very well be worthwhile to you. It helps contribute to these major shows, but these shows are available to everyone, and in turn generate Star Citizen a lot of exposure and help them make more money. It's a big part of their advertising. It would make sense for them to make them even if they were not charging subs. Ship sales get a big boost from them being covered in Around the Verse and ship shapes and that sort of stuff. They are generating a large amount of money from RSI subs now, and I feel the current video content that CIG puts out does not reflect the amount of funding it receives. They need to provide something more again, not less. And that might just be a now problem. That might be the beginning of 2019 has just been a bit scarce and they are working on these shows. But they do need to provide more. In ATV, I'd like to see a couple more minutes of cool eye candy stuff in there. A little bit more on some of the news, some of the stuff they're working on. It's supposed to be a show that gives context to the project, provides news. That's its main goal, and giving us a few little deep dives into bits and bobs, advertising some of the new stuff that's going to be coming out, some of the new ships, that sort of stuff. Last year, they shortened Around the Verse. They were approaching like 30 to 45 minutes, some of them. They were these huge monsters of shows and episodes. They had some great content in there, but they weren't appropriate for an audience that wants to watch something quick and snappy, that wants updates, that wants news and that sort of stuff, which I, at least, thought Around the Verse was supposed to be for. Now, I thought the plan with that was to have a show that sort of like focused on the deep dives, on like a single mechanic, ship, department, tool, team aspect of the game that was sort of like previously in those Around the Verse, taken out, have that as a separate show. You actually have that as maybe once a week as well, or every other week. You have that as a separate little module. Basically, the bits they moved from Around the Verse, own show, boom. I supported and wanted shorter ATVs, but with the understanding they were going to have these bits as a separate video. I know I said that in like 8 different ways, but I just wanted to make that very clear. Reverse the Verse has some great moments and weeks. Sometimes I'm not interested in the topic though, so I would like to see at least a percentage of each week used for Around the Verse, because it's a live show, to answer some of the live FAQ questions, live game design questions. Just at least a small portion each week, just focusing on really hot topics, whatever. Answer some of these questions live or from the feeds live or whatever. Calling All Devs, they should just bring back Calling All Devs, or at least have another pre-filmed FAQ Q&A series that they do weekly. I think this was amazing for the project and for sort of like transparency. Personally, I'd also like to see a community manager or info disseminator that's sole job is to get questions answered by the devs and then post them on a weekly forum post. Here is a load of questions we got answered and encourage discussion, that sort of thing. Maybe they could also actively post answers to the community and signpost around all mediums, like on Twitter, on Reddit, on the forums, everywhere. I love it when some of the devs as well take to Spectrum or Reddit and chat to the community. You get some awesome info and interaction. More of this, please, where possible. One of Star Citizen's cause is the way it's involved the community in the past. And, I mean, still does. I'm having a bit of a complaint for complaining's sake. But we need that community interaction. Questions, answers, talking points. Around the Verse and Reverse the Verse go a long way to providing that, but they have the budget to do more. If they need to hire an additional community manager or other hires, then I think that's clearly worth it. They need to be using that budget to support that back-end content, that additional content. Another thing was Disco, the global video content manager, I think his title is now, went on a well-deserved holiday at the beginning of January, but that paused some of that video content. And I feel that that sub-funding that is provided should at least have some level of redundancy for content like that. Like, you don't want a lull in content. You don't want times where people complain that there is a content drought, at least in the future. I mean, you can't do stuff about the past, but, you know, there is an argument that some of these community shows eat into development time, but there is clearly workarounds to that, and they have the funding to solve these issues. That's only going to be an issue with certain devs at certain times of the year. They just need to be utilizing those funds and giving the community a good amount of content. And if for some reason they can't do certain shows because they don't have the devs or it eats into community time, then use that money to do shows that can. They can't say that they can't do shows and still take funding for them. If that's the case, then update the subscriber perks and FAQ to state that. I feel that I can justify a good portion of previous sub money going into the cost of equipment. They do have some very high quality cameras in every studio now. They've been gearing up for a while, trying different formats, editors. There's probably a little production team going on here as well. Maybe some of that money also finds its ways to other videos, specials for and like trailers and stuff for Gamescom, CitizenCon, Squadron 42, Vertical Slice stuff, panels, additional live streams. Someone said to me that it may have been previously used to support some of the events in the early days as well, like CitizenCon. Don't know that for sure though. So yes, for some RSI subs, it's definitely going to be worth it individually, but I do not feel they are utilizing the funding in the best possible way for video content that it's supposed to be used for. At least as my understanding of it is, it's supposed to be used for. I don't believe that it's the case that funding supports CitizenCon or anything like that. They have separate tickets for that, though I suppose you could argue that the live streams for those events and getting the videos up later and that sort of stuff may use some sub funds. However, again, I would say that the video content and CitizenCon live streams generate them a butt ton of money by having them, and it would certainly be much more beneficial for them to have them than not. I'm personally an erratic RSI subscriber, so I do subscribe sometimes and not others. I want that newsletter, sometimes the flare, and early access to tickets, jump point, and some of the other access to reading and looking at some cool stuff. When I say erratic, I typically subscribe for a month and only resub when I see something I want again. I'm mega thrifty. That's basically what I'm telling you. I did see in Spectrum there was a survey about near future topics that you'd like to see on Around the Verse and Reverse the Verse, put up by a backer. I actually think that's a great idea for getting a feel for what these shows should cover in the shorter term. But basically, I just want some more community interaction when it comes to what video content should be, and I just want more of it, really. I want some additional sort of like interaction with what topics are going to be on Reverse the Verse. I want Calling All Devs back. I want some more shows, and I think they should do that. Anyway, that's my take on it, and you are more than welcome to disagree or provide a different point of view or alternatives in the comments below. I will have a look through all of them. I will try and respond where I can, and I feel it's okay for me to be wrong on certain things. These are very much my opinions on that topic. Obviously, the starting part of it was literally what subscriptions are and are stated for being for. I'm also going to link Twerk's Answer the Call series down below, because on the most recent one, he did talk about are subscriptions worth it? And I thought there was some good discussion there for people that want to go further into that debate. Every month we have a Star Citizenship giveaway for February. It's for a Cutlass Black and Star Citizen game package. All you need to do is be subscribed to the channel and comment on any of my videos made during the month. If you don't have a gaming PC yet, or you are upgrading, instead consider Shadow Cloud Gaming. They allow you to leverage the powers of the internet to stream a high
right, here we go. Lore Maker's Guide to the Galaxy. We're going to do 3 of them.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Lore Maker's Guide to the Galaxy. My name's Adam Weezer. I'm an associate writer here in the Los Angeles studio. And if you haven't seen an episode of this before, it's a chance for a member of the lore team to sit down and give you a personal tour of one of the systems that you'll be seeing in Star Citizen or possibly Squadron 42. So today we're going to start off on we're going to go and visit a very unique system that is unlike any other one in the UE, just for the simple fact that it is the only system to have rejected their official recognition in the UEE Senate. Now, I'll explain why that's super important later on, but let's go and visit that system, which is Charon. So if we look at the star map here, we're here on Earth. I'm just gonna bring up the search menu here, drop in Charon, and off we go. Now, Charon has always been considered a frontier system to a certain degree, which I'll get into in a little bit. On the very basic level, it's 5 planets in an asteroid belt, and at the center here is a K-type main sequence star. We'll go in close, and you can see some of the detail in the star map up there. Now, as you can see, just from looking at when we zoom in on the system here, it looks pretty small. Like some systems, when you jump in, the sun will be it will be massive. This is small to reflect the actual size of this sun. This K-type main sequence star is like pale orange and yellow, and it has a luminosity of 0.35. So it's about 1/3 as bright as our sun, and its mass is about 0.74. So it's 75% as massive as the sun at the center of the Sol system. So that's just a little info on the sun itself. Now, the reason why this system became so special and ended up leaving the UEE's Senate, at least, is location, location, location. Now, if I back this up here for a quick second, and you remember you saying this was on the frontier, the Charon system was discovered right there, through Helios, right here, and this was in 2538. There was a merchant marine at the time in Helios by the name of Max Keaton, who was on his very first run, and Helios has these like terrible kind of like solar winds that can like mess with the electronics, and his ship got knocked out because of one of these solar winds, and he was so nervous about being late for his first shipment that he just continued on course while he did a quick diagnostic of his ship's systems. When everything was back online, he checked him out and realized that he was way off course. But he also noticed some strange other anomalies in the area that he was currently going through. So he put a little pin in that, completed his run, came back, and what he found was this medium-sized jump point to the Charon system. Now, part of the reason why the system stayed in isolation for so long was because this was the only way you could get to it. It wasn't, you'll see here, if I turn on the large jump points, you see it connects to Tyrol and the Genesis system. Now, the Genesis system wasn't discovered until 2812. And the Tyrol system wasn't discovered until 2823. So with this being discovered in 2538, there were a few centuries where Charon could literally only get accessed by this one jump point. Now I'll turn these on really quick just to show you that Charon also has one jump point here to Kins, a small one, which is a Banu system, and they also didn't find out about later. But this isolation and the restricted access to the system through this one jump point really had a big effect on this system's history. Now, the second location that's very important here is the planet Charon 3. Which we'll go in right here. This is a terrestrial rocky planet, which is the only reason why the UEE even decided to take the system. They terraformed it, figuring that people would want to move in, maybe start industry, but the soil wasn't very fertile, so it didn't attract a lot of farmers. Manufacturing companies that wanted to maybe build something were put off by, the land there was cheap to buy, but getting there just took a lot of time, and getting through the medium jump point was a huge pain in the butt. So this planet ended up basically attracting people who wanted to live on the frontier, people who wanted to be independent and kind of have their own homestead and kind of not be close or be bothered with anyone. Now, the result of this is the second location problem that happens here in Charon, and that is that in 2635, Livia Messer III decided to reform the UEE basically justice system. And when she did this, one of the things she decided to do was build a massive prison in the country of Delin here on Charon.
Oh my goodness.
Now, this was just a start. It was a way to kind of get some economic spending in there and get that region going, which it worked. It then got increased drastically when her brother, Corson Messer V, came to power shortly thereafter. Livia Messer had good intentions, but was maybe a little aggressive in her reformation of the judicial system. She ended up in a spacecraft that crashed upon re-entry, entering Earth. Her husband was killed, her son was killed, and she was horribly, horribly injured. So she renounced the title of Imperator. She gave the title honorarily to her son, who had died in the crash, and then disappeared from public life, and Corson stepped forward, some suggesting that he might have been the root cause of the crash in the first place. Now, Corson doubled down on the prison systems in Charon and basically turned them into the prison camps for the Messers for the rest of their reign. Now, this was something that happened in Charon, and people started to find out about and hear about. The people in Delin were benefiting from all this government money coming in, but some of the other countries are hearing about these horrible, horrible things happening there. Yet whenever somebody tried to question it or look into exactly what was happening, they disappeared, most likely ending up in a lot of these prisons that were built there in the first place. Now, this went pretty deep because in 2670, the Senate, the UEE, recognized Charon III as an official planet in the Senate. And when you get this, you get the senator. It just greases the wheels for more political capital and government spending to come back to your system, which is why
that's pretty crazy what's going on there.
Status of being recognized in the UEE Senate. Now, many believe that Corson Messer basically did a handshake deal with one of the leaders of Delin to get Senate recognition in exchange for all these prisons and all these terrible things he was putting there. And this was kind of proven out as over the next 100 years, these prisons and their reputation only grew. And when the Messers fell in 2792, the first thing people did was go into these prisons and document all the atrocities that had gone on there. Now, this entire time while the Messers were in charge, Charon III was a member of the UEE Senate, had voting rights, kept the money coming on in. But at the time of the Messer fall, Senator Constant Whitterfield from Charon was arrested for fraud and basically locked away. Charon III was assigned to send a new senator to basically represent itself, but vicious political infighting on the planet ended up delaying that for the 3 years until the end of her term was done. When it was done, the population of Charon III, having felt betrayed by what the Messers had done on their planet and what kind of bad light they put it in, decided they didn't need the Senate. If this is how the government was going to treat them, then they don't want to be recognized anymore. So they, in 2795, became the first and only planet in UEE history to renounce their recognition from the UEE Senate. Now, of course, especially after the Messers, the big fiasco, and with the Xi'an kind of like growing stronger on their border, the UEE didn't want to look weak.
I wonder
so what
if that
they ended
means
up
they went
doing
communist.
is setting an example of this system. All the government funding to Charon III dried up. All of a sudden, all those, even though they were horrible prisons, people were being put to work there, they were building stuff, food was being supplied, that's all gone. And all of a sudden, the state of Delin is in a critical state because its #1 economic driver has evaporated. Now, the final location that really factors into this is where Delin is on Charon III and where its rival state Acheron is in Charon III. Delin is a massive desert country. Acheron, which is a neighbor and kind of like political rival for power, is half desert and half tropical. So after the UE money left the system, Delin fell into a very hard state. It ended up suffering from a handful of basically famines. They had a tough time getting food in there, and they appealed to the people of Acheron to come along and to basically support them and help them. Acheron, also being part desert, was Well, they also were suffering, but they were slightly better off. So from Dellen, they looked better, but they still weren't in any great state. Refugees were flooding over the Dellen border and Acheron. Things just got crazy, and a civil war broke out between these two states on Charon 3. This happened in like 2811. It was when the first drought really struck and civil war broke out. The civil war broke out from 2813 to 2819 before a ceasefire was negotiated, which, to be honest, is kind of been on and off ever since. There's been times in its history where they'll have a few decades where they'll be peaceful and good together, and then something will pop off between the two, and they'll start to attack each other, or old grievances will be raised, and they're back to civil war. One example of this is in 2934, there was a relative time of prosperity on the planet and peace between Dellen and Acheron, when a massive earthquake really devastated parts of Acheron. Dellen at this point was able to step forward and actually provide some aid to the planet, to Acheron, and they ended up building this masterful Philae Tower, which is considered a kind of like a perfect example of super modernist architecture. It's an architectural landmark in the entire UEE. But Dellen, seeing this, wondered how could they build such a massive and beautiful thing when they needed our help after this massive earthquake. So again, tempers flared up and they started to fight again. Most recently, the most recent civil war, which is still ongoing, started in 2944. When Tarquin Class became the leader of Dellen, and Acheron accused him of being a tyrant, of intimidating voters, of rigging the vote, and basically intervened, came on in. The two sides have started to fight again, and they're still fighting to this day. So people can deliver humanitarian supplies and different things to Charon 3 right now. They desperately need it, but there's also a good chance if you do enter this atmosphere, you may be shot at by either one of these forces. So it's one of these places you want to be very strategic about when you go and visit. The UEE Navy does have a presence in the system, basically just as a watcher. Like the UEE rules and regulations say that we can't intervene unless there's gross misconduct, and fighting between two countries, at least at this point, hasn't been considered that. Many in the UEE are wondered what's the line for when we need to intervene and keep these two countries from consistently tearing each other apart. Now Charon 3 is really, this is the heart of the Charon story and why it is what it is. But let's step back out and talk about the other few planets in the system really quick. Charon 1 is a dwarf planet that just by sheer terrible luck got struck by a rogue planet or a massive asteroid, and it knocked.
I just want to say that's some real crazy stuff. Yeah, I do think it's like the crematoria, like on the Chronicles of Riddick, dude. Star Citizen's got some very wicked places.
Knocked it out of its original orbit. So this is actually in a decaying orbit, which is slowly being pulled into the star of Charon. At the same time, the waves from the energy from the sun is blasting off the surface and everything that's here. So as you fly by Charon 1, it almost is going to look like a comet because the heat and the intensity of the sun is actually subliming a lot of the gases and the rocks and everything that's there on the planet right now. It's self-destructing, which is very descriptive for what's happening in the system in general. Now, if we move on here to Charon 2, this is a gas planet, a smog planet. It's very much like Venus in the fact that it has a runaway greenhouse gas effect, where particulates in the air are trapping the heat, sun's coming in, just not being able to leave, the temperature is obscenely hot and not suited for humanity whatsoever. Charon 3, we've discussed. We've got the Gidinashu, asteroid belt right here, which was named in honor of a popular 25th century vid character. If we move on past the green line out here, we get to Charon 4, which is an ice giant. Now, this is a beautiful blue world, and this actually inspired the name of the system, Charon. Max Keaton, the merchant marine who had discovered the system, had a grandfather who was a classics professor at Redder, and he had told him all about ancient Earth history and ancient Earth lore. And one of the characters that always stuck with him was this character from Greek mythology by the name of Charon. And Charon was basically the ferryman of the dead. When you died, you got into his boat, and he took you across the river Styx to the dead world on the other side. So the blue here is what inspired him of the river and made Max Keaton think of Charon and wanted to answer that. And Charon 5 is the dead world he was referencing to. So as sailors would go by Charon 4, they would see Charon 5 out here, which is a dwarf planet. It's a completely dead world. Every few decades, some mining
Welcome back,
concern
Hit Corpse.
figures it might be worth another scan to see if there's anything hidden there that hasn't been noticed before. Nothing's ever been found, and so this dead world just sits on the outer reaches of Charon, waiting to see what happens around it. So that's the story of Charon. Very interesting system because for a geopolitical sense in the game, it'll be a very dangerous system to go, especially around Charon 3 with the Civil War still raging on. So hope you learned a few things about this interesting star system. And yeah, make sure to check out the star map. It's a fantastic feature. Has a lot of really cool things on there that can teach you a lot of these little tidbits that we're setting out here. Thanks for watching, and yeah, join us again for another episode of Lore Makers coming up soon. Take care. Bye.
So the Charon system, I'm assuming that with all those prison planets and everything that's going on there, this would be a thing where you could take like your Genesis Starliner in there and fill it up with slaves and just make a total killing on a load of slaves, from what he said. It's like a pirate's place to go pick up slaves. A bounty drop-off? Yeah, that too. A lot of things going on there. Okay, next up we got the Tyrol system.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Lore Maker's Guide to the Galaxy, where we highlight one of the many star systems in the Star Citizen universe and give you some background.
It's going to have to be that way. They're going to do a release. And they're going to say, okay, we're not going to wipe anything anymore. We're just going to keep adding to what we have. So yeah, every new system, every new anything, you're gonna get patches. Like, I'd have to say probably a weekly patch, maybe bi-weekly.
On the system itself, as well as some insight behind some of the creative choices that we were making when we were coming up with them. I'm Dave Haddock. I'm lead writer over here at Cloud Imperium Games, and today we are going to talk about the Tyrol system. Interestingly enough, this is actually one of my favorite systems in the game, and is actually a great example of sort of the awesome kind of creative symbiosis that can arise between the various departments in the game. I'll get to that in a second, but yeah, this is actually a really fun, kind of cool criminal system. So anyway, we are going to go to our handy star map. So right here, we're going to start on Earth, and we will show you where you can find Tyrol based on sort of its proximity to Earth. So we go out. So there is Sol system, and let me turn on the jump points. Okay. So scrolling back. I'll go to 2D to make it a little easier. So Sol system's over here, and Tyrol is all the way over here. So you can see it's sort of on the east. I mean, we sort of use or I use these sort of east-west, north-south things. That's not actually obviously what these are, because as you can see, once you go into 3D, that all these things are sort of a very not linear, flat, plane thing. But
I don't know about you guys, but it's like really late at night here when I go to bed. And I kind of like watching these lore videos. I mean, I can get into them. It's just because my mind's in that before going to bed stage to where I'm open to it. And then when I go to bed, I have dreams of some of this stuff. What's been happening the last couple times we did lore nights.
it's just easier when you're looking kind of straight down on it to kind of guide you. So it's over here, kind of over by, you got some Banu system down here. Kins is probably the closest to Banu space. You got one jump through Karen down there, and a couple jumps away from Indra, which is Xi'an over here. So actually, Tyrol system is actually was a stretch goal system from the 2012. Interesting enough, so it has been around for a while. Little background about the system: it was discovered in 2823 via this jump point from Karen's system, and the explorer who discovered it was named Damon Huerta, who was a resident of actually Karen 3. I'll kind of jump in here just to do a little fun. So here we have Karen 3, and so he was actually from here and lost his home and family during the Civil War, and the Civil War had actually resolved in a ceasefire, so it didn't technically end a few years earlier. But he was basically unwilling to leave the system that had been his family's home for generations, and it was the only one that he had known. But at the same time, he refused to go back to the planet that had basically kind of caused him so much suffering. So he basically had kind of spent a lot of his time living on the drift, spending equal time picking up odd jobs around the system and crashing at different stations and whatnot when he could afford it. And so the discovery of the jump point over to Tyrol kind of came at an opportune moment because he had actually come dangerously close to being forced to sell his ship. So it worked out well for him. But unfortunately for the system, the UEE didn't end up claiming it, but let's head in and that will actually explain why. So, as you can see right off the bat, we have a binary star system, which is super cool. This is a white dwarf, and this, more importantly,
I'd also like to add that there's a lot of talk on the forums with a lot of people crying about the PvP potential of the game without taking in consideration the actual size of the game is beyond anything that they've ever thought or imagined. So you really have to go out of your way to put yourself into non-protected space. So basically all these people just crying on the forums right now about it are crying that, well, I don't want to have the option to fly a half hour to this way to put myself into a PvP zone. I mean, I really don't understand what is the difference. It exists. You don't have to fly out there. It's not going to happen to you by accident. You're not going to end up out there by accident. It's either you want to do some high risk reward stuff or you don't want to do high risk reward stuff. It's going to be cut and dry. There's no point in them crying about it.
Has entered is a main sequence star that has entered this sort of subgiant phase of its evolution. So basically, the system's about to blow up in a bad way. So needless to say, the UEE was not really enthusiastic about trying to colonize a system that could blow up at any time. So they basically kind of left it alone. And actually, interesting thing too, while I'm on it, is originally, if you go back like the original write-up for the system was actually, it was a single star system. It was just a star that had entered the sort of red giant phase. But obviously the nova thing was still kind of a key point to it, but it was just a single star. And when we circulated a lot of these systems out to our consultants who were sort of helping us with the kind of astrophysics, offering their insight and expertise into the science of stuff, Steve and one of them basically had tackled the system, changed it to a binary. So he added this sort of white dwarf companion to it, and to quote him, basically the main sequence star has just left the main sequence and is becoming a subgiant. It's now big enough so the outer layers are being sucked up by the white dwarf for the first time, and this will lead to a smaller explosion called a nova that will be destructive enough. This was actually an interesting point. It will be destructive enough to be a cataclysmic event in the entire system, but not significantly enough to affect neighboring systems. So he also went on to explain that basically like these novas could kind of happen several times, and the white dwarf could potentially ultimately go supernova, which would be bad for basically everyone. So yeah, fun times. But anyway, that was sort of the kernel of the idea of the station. It was this idea of a system sort of on the brink of destruction that was sort of the hook into the character of the system. And it was just an interesting idea to think about that, like, even though in the sort of timeline of cosmic and space events and stuff like that, it's obviously over a hugely protracted amounts of time of hundreds of thousands and millions of years and stuff like that. But at a certain point, they have to, there has to be that moment of it doing something, that moment of
I don't think anybody survives a nova.
So this was just this idea of having this really fragile system that, like, any day it could disappear, basically. So I don't know. It just seemed like it had a lot of potential to be, lead to some really interesting kind of storytelling and possibilities and characters and stuff like that, like who would move here, stuff like that. So anyway, getting on to sort of the makeup of the system itself, you have got 7 planets here, and I won't go
think
into too much
supernovas
detail
open up black holes.
I highly
Not
advise
100% sure.
poking around in the star
But I
map
think
itself,
that's how it works.
And looking up the data and stuff like that. So I'll just kind of focus on more of the kind of the interesting ones. So, as I said earlier, while the UEE didn't necessarily claim Tyrol, it didn't mean that they weren't interested in it. The scientific community particularly was immediately entranced with this opportunity to set up research stations, data collectors, whatever, just to be able to study such a potentially massive event up close, and it just offered kind of potential breakthroughs in understanding how the universe works and stuff like that. And interestingly enough, it's sort of a counterbalance to other systems like Callus, which was the one, if you remember, is sort of in the process of forming. It's still that sort of forming the planets and all that stuff. So this is sort of the opposite, and they're equally fascinated with that. So this is the opposite end of the spectrum. So this is about the death of a system rather than the start of one. One of the closest, if you go over here to Tyrol 1, basically our first kind of habitat here is actually over on the moon.
How you doing,
called
Mitmo?
Monisto.
How you doing,
It's basically
Merrick?
set up by a research company to study.
You guys are doing all right.
The event theoretically up close, so you can see proximity-wise here. It's a pretty good seat to check things out. Unfortunately for them, it didn't blow up quick enough for them, so they kind of ran out of funding, and they had to shut down the research station. So unfortunately, now it's basically a home to squatters, smugglers, refugees, and who have nicknamed the place Front Row to indicate basically the destruction of the system. So let me go back to the wide view. Okay, so that's Tyrol 1. But otherwise, the big draw here, which I cannot seem to find at the moment, there you are, is Tyrol 5, which is weirdly off center from its orbital line. Anyway, So basically, Tyrol 5 used to be an ice giant, was the thing. And but when the main sequence star entered into the subgiant phase, basically it sort of pushed out a lot of energy and heat and stuff like that. And so it basically kind of melted the planet and pushed it into its sort of, weirdly enough, it's kind of its green zone type thing. And
as soon as the weather breaks and spring comes and it warms up, my knees will be fine. But right now, I'm kind of in the same boat. They hurt pretty good.
So basically, it's got the closest thing, even though the idea was originally that the life on the surface is very tricky, I think is a way to put it, but dangerous because the sun can be so overpowering. But this is where the closest thing to a settlement in the system can be found, and it's a place called Haven. Now, this is where we get back to that sort of the symbiosis I was talking about earlier, because this was the original write-up for Haven. Let me bring it up.
Is
Haven is built into
symbiosis
the
a
rock
word?
of a vast canyon in an effort to keep the temperature down.
I don't think
What started
symbiosis
as a
is
small
a word.
network
What
of
the
tunnels
hell
expanded
is
as
that?
more fugitives, criminals, expatriates, and outlaws decided to roll the dice and hide in a dying system. So that was it. That's 2 sentences in one kind of run-on sentence. But anyway, so basically just a city built in the canyons, shaded from the dangerous sunlight, sort of the sort of Adobe-style structures for outlaws to hide in until the system explodes. That's it. Very, very loose description, but it led to this concept art, which we will put up here. And which to me is, I remember when I saw this, when it came out, when it was posted like a couple of years ago, it just totally knocked me out. Like it really captured this life and flavor and really kind of just a unique, immediately interesting place that I wanted to kind of go visit. Like it was amazing to me. And again, like this piece was done several years ago, so the details of it, like these sort of weird little structures and stuff like that, like they'll probably change when it's actually built, but it doesn't matter. It's like it's this vibe, the spirit of the thing, like that's what really kind of sells it and makes it really, really exciting. So yeah, it was and so consequently, once this image was done, it reinvigorated a lot of my personal interest in this thing, and so I started wanting to develop it more based off of this image. So it was sort of, we had that description. That description led to this picture. This picture led to more, specialized, tailored lore about it, because it was just such, you just want to be here and see what it was like and stuff like that. So yeah, again, it was pretty great, and it's again, it sort of raised this question of, you have a vista like this with the persistent threat of that at any time this sort of massive cosmic event way beyond your control, something you can do nothing about, could theoretically happen and just wipe out all life in the system. Just led to this really interesting possibility of like the denizens who've chosen this place as their home. It's just really, really, really interesting. So that is, that's Tyrol in a nutshell. Again, personally, I'm really looking forward to the point where we're actually going to start building this system. Because, we have a lot of like kind of criminal, shady towns and stuff like that, and even kind of underground places. We have a handful of those types of places built in tunnels and stuff like that. Like I think that this place is really going to have like a very fun, kind of fatalistic, flavor to it, which I think will be really, really cool, and I'm really looking forward to getting into. So yeah, that'll do it for this episode of Lore Makers. A big thank you, of course, to our subscribers who help us create additional content like this. And a bigger thank you, of course, to everyone out there in the community who helped make this game amazing. And again, if you'd like to learn more about the system or all of the other systems, you should definitely check out our star map, because it is super dope and filled with really, really cool little tidbits and stuff like that. And we also have...
The star map is super cool.
If you're interested in Tyrol specifically, we actually have a galactic guide too that sort of digs a little deeper into it, which we'll kind of link into the description to make it easier to find. But again, that's it. Thank you for all your support. I'm Dave Haddock, and I will see you in the verse, or probably get shot by you in Star Marine.
Yeah, Laura's
Thank you for
best to
watching.
discuss.
So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in the Star Citizen and
Yeah, Laura's best to discuss with people. I'd like to have that job, making up stories. I think I said that a bunch of times already. Be an awesome job. Sit there and make up bullshit all day long. Oh, guys, I had this dream, and it was crazy, dude. We're gonna change everything around, you know. Just come into work and just start bullshitting and have people write it down. It'd be awesome. The TAAC system. I like how it's a different person, like almost every time too. Probably get the bushy eyebrowed lady, Sarah, I think her name is. That is gonna be the red-haired guy. The poor guy, he doesn't know what to do with his hair. He should just grow it like long, like Carrot Top.
And welcome to another edition of Lore Maker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm your host for today, senior writer Will Weisbaum. And if you haven't joined us before, Lore Maker's Guide is a guide from us, the Lore Makers, to
He looks
the
like he
galaxy.
smokes weed.
We basically take you through one of our many star systems and give you
I
the
had to do what
lowdown
he
on the
does,
lore
I'd
side
smoke weed
about
too.
all its ins and outs and happenings. And it's all thanks to the absolutely fantastic ARC star map, which we're going to get into a lot of detail on today because of our system. TAAC is actually the home of the ARC. So let's go head over there now. We'll bring up a route. We're starting at beautiful Earth. So we're gonna
I made
go
Mitmo
from
laugh.
Earth.
Mission accomplished.
And we're
Mitmo
gonna
has
head
laughed.
on out to TAAC. So let's see, what size ship do I want to do? I think medium. Not the obvious choice, but it works for me. 12 jumps, and we don't have that kind of time. 6 jumps. Costs a little bit more, but it's going to be good. Let's head out. So here we are on Sol. I'm going to whiz on over to Davian. Ooh. Over to Killian. From there to Ellis. Stop, enjoy a race and a hot dog. And we'll go from there to Magnus. From there to Terra. And then we have one last final jump, hopefully to, wait, Magnus. What happened? Something went horribly wrong.
You got interdicted like we get when we try to fly around.
All right, just imagine that worked.
The star map interdicted.
We're gonna do it live. We're doing it live. And then we arrive in TAAC. Welcome. So, to give you a quick overview to start, this is a UEE system. It is a whopping 2.85 AU astronomical units wide across. The star at the center, known as TAAC, is a G6 main sequence star. It's yellowish white, and it's got a solar radius of 0.88, which is a little bit smaller than our own sun over here in Sol.
It's got a pretty big
it's got
green
a classy
belt.
green band, which you can see that greenish area there, which starts from its inner point of 0.78 AU and goes all the way out to 1.13. There are 3 planets orbiting around TAAC, the star. We have TAAC 1, sometimes called Vespa, sometimes not. And around
Bet you those are
TAAC
hot.
1 is our main point of interest in the system, which we'll be talking a lot more
TAAC
about.
2's gotta be
a
where
little
the
bit
people
called
live.
the ARC. We also have TAAC 2, which is a gas giant, and it's got Saturn-like rings around it, as you can see here, nicely rendered.
Nobody's living there.
And they're really dense, so it provides a nice stark contrast against the bright gas giant when you can see these rings. It's kind of a cool place to visit. And then from there, a little bit beyond TAAC 2, we have the TAAC belt Alpha. Alpha means it's the first belt, so that is quite nice. And for those of you who may not be quite familiar with our solar system naming, how it works is that
The star has typically the same name as the system, so in this case, TIAC system has a TIAC star, and from there we go. Planets have Roman numeral numbering, so the first planet in the system is TIAC 1, or written as TIAC I, and TIAC 2 would be TIAC II. And from there we go moons, which are written in the case of the normal number followed by a letter. So it would be, if TIAC 1 had a moon, it would be TIAC 1A. And then you go into asteroid belts, which are listed with the Roman alphabet. So it goes asteroid belt alpha, asteroid belt beta. So it's a fun thing there. After the TIAC belt alpha, we have our final planet in the system, TIAC 3, which is a rocky dwarf planet, and it's pretty far out there. It's got an orbital period of 1,847 standard Earth days. It's commonly known as Shepherd because it's kind of seen as watching over its flock of asteroids nearby. We're gonna probably leave it up to the players to decide whether it is a femme Shepherd or not. But from there, that's kind of the system in a glance. Let's dive into a bit of the history. So, and first of all, I'd also like to give a shout out to all our astronomy and astrophysicist consultants who've done a fantastic job in helping us get all these stats and numbers for our solar system. It's pretty cool that we have all these figures crunched, and as the Galactopedia comes along, we'll be making those more available. So
yeah, Merrick, we got ripped off. We'll never get to go out there and see it.
24, which was part of what's known as Project Far
Maybe
Star,
our grandkids' kids.
Push by the United Planets
Maybe our
of Earth
great-grandkids.
to discover
Maybe.
new systems for settlement. And
But we got
there was
ripped
a
off.
bunch of systems discovered from this project, and TIAC was one of them. But because there was some discovered earlier and stuff, there was interest in terraforming TIAC 1, but there wasn't enough resources at the time to get around doing it, so it was kind of put on the back burner as focus went to other systems. And by the time these started, had an orbital platform built around the planet to get going, it was just in time for the first Tavaran War to break out in 2541. So they were all set to go, and all of a sudden war hits. So it's our first interspecies war, and all the resources just get diverted to the war effort. So the kind of big brakes put on the TIAC system. So the war happens, and we have, for the next 5 years, heavy fighting, and a young man by the name of Ivar Messer rises up through the ranks, becomes a big war hero, and eventually will take over the government, become the first imperator of the United Empire of Earth, which has just started. Now, rather than opening TIAC back up, what Messer ends up doing is claiming the system for the military and making it completely off limits for civilian ships. So it kind of fades from public memory for the next few centuries. And it's not until the fall of the Messer regime in 2792 that we'll learn what was actually going on there. Bum, bum, bum. Devious Messer plots. So fall of the Messers, systems open back up, and a huge discovery to kind of what was going on. And it turns out that from his participation in the first Tavaran War, really.
I want to point out that he's got like half of a beard. I mean, if your beard just doesn't grow in, why walk around like that? That don't make sense. I mean, there's so many holes in that beard. It's like, it looks kind of wrong. It's like, I don't know. I don't think I'd walk around with a beard that don't grow in.
Scared the crap out of Ivar Messer, and he
Noticed that?
dedicated considerable resources into these black site projects to devise new devastating weapons to protect humanity if we should ever get into another war.
His hair looks
so
all right.
One of them was centered, one of the
But
major
whatever he's
research
doing to his hair now
projects
is,
was
I
centered
don't know what's
here
going on.
in
You guys
TIAC,
noticed
and
that?
It was known as Project Vespa, and it was run by a Dr. Thessaly TIAC. And Project Vespa's main goal was to find a way, now that we had terraforming technology, the question was, could we find a way to weaponize terraforming to de-terraform planets, to park outside of an alien world and destroy the atmosphere really rapidly? And so this was a very popular notion, and they spent years and billions of credits investigating whether this was feasible, and they ended up terraforming and de-terraforming Tyak 1 numerous times, ripping the atmosphere off, putting a new one in, changing the structure, all in this, and they just never found a way to weaponize it. The problem is that by the time the giant station platform was put into place, it was really hard to do while there was a war going on, and the amount of time it took to de-terraform was way too slow to actually use it as a weapon. So despite all this effort into creating it, it never got off the ground. But because of Dr. Tyak's effort, the system was informally referred to by his name for the years, and that's why the system's known as Tyak. And Project Vespa is also sometimes why Tyak 1 is referred to as Vespa, but it is not its formal designation. So we have the space station out here, the Ark, which is kind of the bright side to this whole thing. So we have this planet here that's actually been completely devastated by this horrific research that Messer was conducting. And after the fall of the regime and the word got out, it was kind of upsetting to the Xi'an to learn this. We had just signed a new peace treaty, and we found out that we'd been researching all these ways to destroy them. And so in the name of peace, the new Imperator, Aaron Toy, decided to share that information with them. And along the route, and with the idea of sharing between cultures, she named a very young senator, whose name was, I want to get this right, Marshal Leon, to the position of diplomatic secretary. And his job was try to unify humanity with the other species. And he saw a great chance to do this by sharing even more information. His dream was to build something that he liked to call the Ark, which was named after the ancient Earth legend of a gathering of all of humanity's creatures and knowledge in order to preserve it in the face of great adversaries. So he put forth this proposition to build the Ark, and it got huge support from the Senate, and he was able to build it. And while there was a lot of discussion about where the Ark should be built, different senators were vying to have the resources dumped into their system, but Leon was very firm in that it should remain apolitical. So he actually wound up deciding that Tyak would be the perfect place to kind of take this system that was representative of the horrors of humanity and convert it into a symbol of hope. So they decided to take the old Project Vespa headquarters and convert that.
Thank you for that follow, King Quack
and
TV. Thank you.
And one of the great quotes from him that I really like that we have is that humanity is better off with friends instead of enemies. And so that's kind of a nice sentiment and really embodies what the Ark is all about. He got a whole bunch.
There was no like tablets or anything put on the Ark? Nothing? Just animals?
Of the species, Banu and Xi'an, he asked them to participate. He actually even asked the Van Duel to participate, which just shows how eager he was as a young senator. They did not respond to his invite, which I can relate to that. And so, he started building a station. Of course, they ran into the normal problems of budget and like dealing with the Banu. To the Banu, it was really strange for them, this concept of like giving away knowledge for a library, so humanity always had to trade with them, as well as like the concept of storing artifacts that weren't owned by anyone was also kind of a weird notion to them. So they weren't quite as enthusiastic about the project as Leon would have liked. So there was a lot of, if we wanted stuff from them, we had to trade with them for it. And then the Xi'an were still pretty distrustful of humanity after the Cold War, so they weren't quite as eager to share either, and they were still kind of only dipping a toe into diplomacy with us. And of course, the other thing with the Banu is that with the renegotiations that happen with their people every several decades, it also makes it hard to do a continual big project like this. But he was determined to have it succeed, and he invited researchers and scientists and archivists from all over the empire to donate information. And soon he had grown one of the largest repositories of information ever compiled. And in the year 2800, it finally opened. And this was just on the heels of...
So this place is like Babylon 5, guys, from what he's describing, right? You guys getting the Babylon 5 vibe?
Of Leon actually managed to run for Imperator after Aaron Toy, and he became the new Imperator, and it was just in time to see the opening of this grand project that he had been working on for years. So it was kind of perfect in that way. He invited all the species together, and there was actually a bit of controversy with the Tavaran because they had had the purge a few centuries earlier in the 2600s where they were trying to get rid of all their past, and here were these humans who were gathering it all up in one place, and there was kind of debate amongst them whether they were okay with that and how they felt. And actually a lot of people note that the Ark might be the start of the resurgence of Tavaran finding interest in the Rajora and their past. You know, and there's been tons of visitors every year who go to visit this, and some great things have come out of the Ark since it's open. Two of the big well-known ones is the Galacticpedia, which is available. It's the great research source for information across the Empire and the entire universe. And then the other one, of course, is this grand feature, which is the star map, which we rely on to not only get around the system, but to create these lore maker guides. And so that's actually their big money maker, is that it's available to individuals for free, but commercial people who want to use it for like their ship maps and stuff have to pay them licensing fees. And so, you know, it's the most up-to-date information. They coordinate with the ICC and all this other stuff. And there's a whole bunch of other systems that have come around, stations that have been established to cater to them. There's some great bars in the area where educational people gather to share drinks. So there's a lot of fun there. Probably the last cool thing that I want to note is that in anniversary of the centennial of the Ark, a great, awesome art installation was created in the belt that's worth visiting. It's called The Silent Song, and it was the joint effort of a human artist, Joseph Colt, a Xi'an artist, Aor, and a Bandu craftsman team who helped build this art piece, and that's definitely something worth visiting. So make sure you come and visit Tyack while you can. There's a chance that the Ark might be moving soon, so we'll see about that. And until then, thank you for joining me on Lore Maker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I hope to see you again. Thanks for subscribing and all your support.
Thank you for watching.
All right. Well, I'm looking at the keyboard, and yeah, it's looks like a big one. Got all the buttons on this side too. So yeah, I can see, yeah. Your hand's probably trying to go over here. That's a pretty hefty duty keyboard there. All your shields and stuff over here for Star Citizen, I take it. Yeah, I see that. Good one. Well, since we seem to be having fun with it, and we haven't seen the girl with the bushy eyebrows yet, I'll see if I can find one with her in it. Then we'll have the whole Lore Maker crew. Maybe we'll just start doing four systems until we get through it. We got like 2 more pages after this page of systems to go through before we run out of stuff. Let's see. Hopefully the girl will do the callus. Hopefully this one will be her. We'll get our dose of, my name's Sarah. Pretty loud.
Hi, welcome to another
It's
edition
her.
of Lore Maker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm Sherry Heiberg, the archivist.
Sherry.
If you've never seen Lore Maker's Guide to the Galaxy, it's a program in which me and the other writers get together, or more like do it solo, one at a time, talk about the lore behind.
This is our dose of nerd porn. Nerd porn for the week. With Sherry.
Hi, welcome to another edition of Lore Maker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm Sherry Heiberg, the archivist. If you've never seen Lore Maker's Guide to the Galaxy, it's a program in which me and the other writers get together, or more like do it solo, one at a time, talk about the lore behind the systems that we have built for
Takes
you.
about 2 or 3 shows, but she grows on you.
Citizens of the Stars.
Wrong show.
Wrong show. Anyway, this is Lore Maker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I hope you enjoy this tour of Callus. Now, I picked Callus because I thought it would be interesting to talk about a system that's still forming. Here is our representation of Callus. If our visualization was where we would want it to be, we'd have a more accurate representation of a protoplanetary disk, which has, lots of little planetesimals, little planet embryos, some dust, all kinds of things. And we hope to do that with the next iteration of the star map. So systems like Callus and Null and Gurzel will have the appropriate protoplanetary disks, which will be a more compelling visualization.
She's got a big brain.
Now, the Callus system, even though it doesn't have any life developing on it whatsoever, is protected by the Fair Chance Act. And the reason for this is that it is a developing system in that it is developing slowly on an astronomical scale, like millions of years. It's going to take millions of years for the system to finish forming and to become a full 9-planet solar system, more or less similar to ours, which is, at the heart of it, the reason why the Senate agreed to pass the Fair Chance Act and protect this otherwise uninteresting system. But I think it's pretty interesting because it's scientifically interesting, and so do all the people who live here and study it. There has been a push ever since the announcement of the discovery of the planet in 2291. No, not 2291. Why did I say that? In 2921, that
Billions
there
of
are
years.
land deeds available up for grabs, and that once Callus finishes developing, it's going to be a hub of interesting jump points, and there's going to be cheap land available for everyone, mining prospects, etc. But, as I said, systems like this take millions of years to develop. So anyone who comes up to you claiming that they have a good deal on a land deed for Callus probably also has a really good collection of snake oil they'd like to show you.
She does impressions in her own voice without changing her voice. It's kind of
buy
weird.
land in systems protected by the Fair Chance Act, so be on the lookout for charlatans such as that. This is the star of Callus, also called Callus. It's a G-type main sequence star. It burns yellow-white on the spectral scale, much like our sun. It's called a yellow dwarf. A lot of the stars along the main sequence are dwarf stars, but they're not white dwarfs. The red dwarf is the M-type star. It burns very cool. It's very old. Then you have the K-type star that burns orange. It's a little bit warmer. And then you have the G-type star, the yellow dwarf, which is our sun. Which is partially one of the things that made this system so interesting to people who wanted to study the long-term development of a system in its infancy. This guy is Callus 1. We hope to get a better representation of a forming planet one day, but for now we went with something that sort of suggests that it hasn't got an atmosphere, it's got a little rocky surface, it's forming from close by planetesimals, it's kind of a little planetoid. One day it will coalesce into a bigger planet, but for now it is what it is. We've also got the Callus Belt Alpha, which is very thick for an asteroid belt, very dense, full of minerals, full of, as I said, asteroids. Decently dangerous to fly through. You want to be careful and make sure that you calculate that your ship, if you indeed need to pass through it, does not run into any of the asteroids that are going quickly through the belt. here we have, interestingly enough, Callus 3. Callus 3 and, whoop, here's the other guy. Callus 2 are also forming planets, much less Callus 1, but in this case they share the same orbit in a not exactly
I thought it was a red
eternally stable
dwarf, to be
pattern.
honest with you.
One day they are probably going to crash into each other, which I hope that we get to see in game, but who knows. And once they do,
It's
it
actually
is
white. Okay, I didn't read the whole thing.
fair game to bet which planet will subsume the other, whether they will pulverize each other, or whether we will get an Earth-Moon situation, which I think would be the raddest outcome. Here we have another asteroid belt. Unlike the Alpha belt, the Beta belt is actually really sparse. Again, our visualization hasn't caught up to what our lore wants to communicate, but one day we hope that it will. We'd love to have different visualizations of different kinds of belts so that you can tell at a glance whether it is densely populated or whether it is more like a dust belt, which is what Callus Beta here is. Little Callus Belt Beta. All right, now that we've talked about these, let's move on to Callus 4 if I can find it. Let's see, where are you, my guy? I see Callus 6. Oh, here we go, Callus 4. Callus 4 is firmly within the green band, which is very exciting to scientists. It is molten, which is also very exciting to scientists, and it's roughly in the same position as our Earth, which is the most exciting thing for scientists. It's sort of like getting a photograph or a live,
How is
more like
something
a
in the
live
green
feed
belt
of the
and
formation
so
of
hot
Earth
that
at a
it's
certain time in
molten?
its history.
I thought the green belt was
After
for
a couple
life.
of
Nothing
million
can live
years,
there.
it may stabilize and cool off and get a hard surface, perhaps with volcanic activity.
Oh, it's not formed
perhaps with
yet. That's right.
oceans. It all remains to be
place is
seen, but
forming.
it is in a prime position to develop life should the planet stabilize. This will, of course, take millions of years, and it's unlikely for the scientists observing this system to possibly see it in their lifetimes, which they know, but they are still very happy to be here to observe this fantastic, fantastic slice of astronomical history. All right. Now let's zoom out for a second so I can get a hold on where we've put Callus 5. So we have Callus 5 here, which is a young rocky planet. It's not quite finished forming, and it has a healthy disk of debris around it, which hopefully and possibly will one day coalesce into a moon or several moons. And that is what evidence
that'd be cool.
suggests. And
Is that how moons are
that
formed?
would also
I didn't
be
know that.
extremely exciting to observe on a long-term scale. We also have Callus 6, all the way on the other side here. This is Callus 6. It is a carbon planet, as you can see from the scoring, and having seen a lot of carbon planets in my time. It formed out of a protoplanetary disk debris field that's composed mostly of carbon. And it just sits pretty. It is almost done with its development. And I guess if you want carbon and want to defy the law, come to Callus 6. Here's Callus 7.
Nice.
It's a gas giant. Now, what I found very interesting when I was reading about protoplanetary disks is that gas giants tend to form much faster than their terrestrial counterparts. So Callus 7 is a fully formed adult gas planet with its own credit cards and bills and apartment. It's thinking about getting a dog. It's a great place to go if you want to refuel if you happen to be going through the system, and refueling is not against the law here. It is a big hydrogen-rich grown-up system, perfect for your refueling needs. And what I like to think
Take
from
my
this little
Starfarer
visualization
there.
of the dots around it is that there are a bunch of tiny moons. That's what I hope to have once we get the system online for you, the players. A bunch of tiny moons that form from a big protoplanetary disk that's still circling around the planet. I very much hope that all my visualization dreams will come true in the next iteration of the star map. Let us move on from Callus 7 to Callus 8. Callus 8 is an ice giant. It is composed of heavier elements than the elements of the gas giant that precedes it. So there is a prevailing hypothesis that it formed closer to the sun and then was flung outward early in its developmental stage. This most likely would have happened before the other planets on the inner orbit between it and the sun formed, because otherwise an event of that magnitude may have flung the other smaller by mass planets out of the system. But everything appears to be in its place, much like our solar system. It is possible that an event like this may have influenced the orbits of Calus 2 and 3, but that is, again, a hypothesis. It's not even a theory yet. So let's move on to the last planet in the system, which you may recognize from our Tanya Oriole tale, Lost Generation, Calus 9. So let's zoom out because it's pretty far out there. Calus 9 is a dwarf planet covered with active cryovolcanoes. So that, in common parlance, is volcanoes that shoot ice, which I think is pretty awesome. Tanya Oriole, who we envision as a character in the Star Citizen universe, came here as a part.
I'm writing this planet down in my logbook. Calus 9. I'm going there. I'm gonna see shit shoot ice. That's gonna be awesome.
Which I think is pretty awesome. Tanya Oriole, who we envision as a character in the Star Citizen universe, came here as a part of a job that she took to investigate possible remains of the Artemis, the long-lost colony ship. It is possible that she found remains of a ship here, but there has been no evidence discovered of such a thing ever happening. Perhaps one day we can ask Tanya Oriole herself what happened. And if you are interested in catching up on the story, please check out Lost Generation. I think it's a pretty good one. And moving on to the last feature in the system is Observational Post Griffin. I may have to zoom. Oh, there it is. There it is. Right here. This is the observational post of the system that serves as the central location for the Army that's charged with monitoring Calus to make sure that no one comes in and sets up an illegal mining operation or decides to have some kind of black market settlement on one of the forming planets, or maybe sets up a weird pirate base in the asteroid field, all kinds of things that you could illegally do in the system that the Army does not want you to do. It's also the base for the scientists who are observing the system in its formation, so it's full of grad students, postdocs, their supervisors, and a rather young contingent of the Army. People from all walks of life are invited to come to the scientific outpost to observe the system, so you also get weird new age people, you get folks who are interested just on a casual basis about the formation of the universe. And so if you want an interesting conversation, the observational station Griffin is a great place to go. However, you have to keep in mind as scientists that it's a long-term data-driven observational exercise, and spectacular sights such as planets crashing into one another are not likely to occur. So the scientists here are a little bored and often in need of distraction. So parties happen, benders happen, all kinds of things happen there. It's a good place.
What's a bender?
And that does it for Calus.
I know what a party is, but what's a bender?
That is still in the early stages of its formation. It's almost done.
I'm not American. I don't know what a bender is.
Adult planets scattered in here. I like it very much, and I hope you liked it very much. Thank you again for tuning into Lore Maker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I will see you next time.
Thank you for watching.
Thank
so
you,
if you want to
Sherry.
keep up with the latest.
You don't know what a bender is? Anybody? Can't believe I'm doing this. A bender. A wild drinking spree. Okay. Got it. I had to Google it. The wild drinking spree. Got it. Her vocabulary is just extremely powerful. She's got a very big brain. If you look at her, the way her head's shaped, she has a huge brain, and it's filled with knowledge. All right, we're gonna raid Time of Chaos because he's like my favorite guy to pick on because I like him, dude. I think he's good. I think he's funny. He makes me laugh. He just woke up. I guess I like looking at people when they're half asleep and trying to be funny. So we're gonna raid him. We'll be here next week for Oxford for his Wednesday and Thursday. The first night we do get a good bit of news to do the way I do it. But on the second night, we'll be like tonight. We'll do what's ever left over of the news. And we will do some more lore. I'm really having fun with the lore. So, yeah, we're going to do the raid. Here we go. The timer has started. I wonder if he'll play one of his raid videos. They're pretty good. I like the raid videos. Raid videos are awesome.
Just show me where it is. Got such a cold at the moment. I'm gonna have to Yep.
Here we
muted
go.
myself while I coughed. Caught it just in time. Got a bit of a sucky kind of coffee cold thing going on at the moment. Lead into spring. Very alarmed here. Hey, Twister. What are you doing, buddy? Raid video. Here you go.
The Kung Fu raid.
Welcome, welcome. It's a short raid video. It's the only one I've hooked up to the new system. Some of the best Kung Fu moves ever.
Kung Fu raid video. Version 2.
The angel calls for
Hey,
our holy
Twister.
work to go on.
Oh, I'm muted? No, I'm not muted. How's it going, buddy?